You
What do
want
you
me to
mean? Why
fucking
are you
crack a
looking at this
code on the
video?
spot?
Look,
I showed you a
look.
single
This is the
video,
video
and
you
you
just
said,
sent
"Why do
me.
you think
You
this
just sent
way?"
me the same video. That's the
Yeah, I
same
sent you
video.
that. No, it's
Right.
not the
This
same
is from
video.
this video. This is the source of the video you just showed me. I'm showing you the full
Yes, you're
version
going
of it.
to the source. I'm pointing out the chick in the red sweater. That's what I'm pointing
Okay.
out.
Okay. So we can't look at this one? You don't want to look at
Yeah,
this one in
sure
the
you
hair?
can, but you want me to answer all the questions about it. Like why? I don't want to
Just
take
one?
the position you want me to take. Sorry, eggs.
But you're not
No
taking any
thanks.
position then. If
You
what my
keep
point
trying to
is
put me in a position so you can argue against me.
to show you it's wrong. Yeah, it's obviously wrong. Because your position
You're
is
like,
about
just
hair.
believe it, bro. Okay, well I
No,
don't.
no, no.
You like just ad hoc it with me, bro. I'm
No, I'm
like, no
showing you
thanks.
your logic is
You're
self-refuting.
like, no, it
In
makes
that if
perfect
you're
sense. It
saying
must just be grease. I don't know how it's grease. I don't know why it's grease, but it must be grease. Therefore,
could
it's
be,
real, bro.
it's not
And I'm
evidence
like,
of
yeah.
not zero G. Somebody's hair clumping together isn't evidence of not zero G. I would take more evidence. I'd keep looking at videos. I'd look at her necklace in this shot, the way all of these straps have to hang, the bag that she's got to bump. All of these things have to move like
Yeah,
she's
you're
in zero
looking,
G.
see, this is what you're doing. You're looking at the positives, and I'm
Yep.
trying to find the negatives, right? You're
Let's keep
like,
trying
no,
to
look at
find it.
all
That's
these
my more.
positive things. All this shit in the movie looks so real. So
Yeah.
therefore, it must be real. I'm
Well,
looking
you
for the
found one
negatives. I'm
error.
saying, let me find one fucking thing that stands out to crack this, to see. Let me find the
Sure.
hole or that one
Sure.
loose, that
Sure. Let's
one
find
loose
another.
piece of yarn, and I'm just gonna pull it.
Yeah, we've got billions of pixels here to look at. Let's find some more errors because they should be everywhere, right?
Yeah, that's
They
your
should.
assertion. If one thing's fake, if you find one hole in it, therefore you must find a hole in everything. I don't agree
Well,
with that.
no, I
They
didn't
just,
say that,
dude, I
but I
could
think
watch right
it's.
now. I could put on
I didn't say that.
Interstellar, right, and I could watch how they behave in space, right? I could
Sure.
do that. And I could be like, holy fucking shit, they legit look like they're in a zero G environment, right?
Mm,
But if they turned around and
yeah.
fucked up and they made the hair fucking stick straight out or in one vector, I'd be like, all right, well. This doesn't make any sense. They fucked up the footage on that one, right? But I could be like, well, they did a pretty good job on the rest of it, right? So they could definitely fake space. That's not a problem. We could watch that in
I don't get
movies.
your point there. Sure, it
My
looks like
point is,
it
you
can be
can
in
tell
movies,
when
but
it's
you
a
can find
movie when
problems
you
in
find
movies.
something that's not consistent. You
Sure, but I
find
wouldn't do
that
it with hair because your thing. I want to show you why your
that's
hair
fine. You
point is
don't have
bad.
to. You could find your own like standard, and you can make your own standard.
I want to show you
That's
why
just
your
not mine.
standard is
I'm like,
broken.
well,
Yeah, your one is broken because it's on the hair of one person in one clip in space. But I've said, can we find the source on that? I'm still happy to find the source on that and watch how it behaves. My point is, there would need to be a consistency about how you present space to people. You would need to keep presenting it the same way day after day. You couldn't suddenly go from a vomit comet to underwater to just spraying people's hair up because you would need three identical sets that all worked exactly the same way despite being vastly different environments. So what my point is, you need to pick one, not to say I've got the whole solution to the whole thing, but just to say, okay, I've picked one which is no vector, right? So, sorry, you've picked there must be a vector, right? No vector could be in a pool where there's no vector because you're equally buoyant all the way around, or vomit comet could be no vector because you've cancelled the downwards 9.81, but you're going vector. And now you need to test and go, what other things would stack up with there being a vector of down? If there was things holding things down, then everything in this shot, in every shot of the space station, every shot of space needs to match with that. Or they need to do this very complex process by which they sometimes film it on Earth in normal zero gravity and just spray your hair up. And then sometimes put you on a vomit comet and your hair's got to look the same. Everything has to look the same. And that's, I'm saying that's really improbable. They would have to all do it one way, have one set, one simple way of operating.
yeah,
And
and they don't.
I
They're
think,
not consistent. The behavior of hair in space is never consistent. It's always
interesting.
different for the astronaut. Sometimes you see it stick straight up away from, like going the opposite way of down, like their whole head of
Mm.
hair, not going outward, but going straight in the vertical. And then other times you see where it looks like it's going outwards and it looks like it's flowing.
So what are they trying to
But
fake
just
with their hair? They're trying to fake
you
that
tell
there's
me,
no
Eggs.
vector.
You tell me.
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
want me to
I don't
answer
know
these
because
questions? I
yeah,
don't know
your question.
why they do what they do. Like you want me to answer that? How?
Wait, have you caught somebody lying, or have you just caught a mistake, like something that you haven't understood? You have to
Nasty's
show
lied multiple
show.
times.
Well, but if these are your liars, of course you're going to think that, right? And not very good
Here we
indications
go.
of
Here we
lies.
go. You don't. It meets my standard, but it doesn't meet yours. Therefore, they're not lying. Okay.
But what I'm showing you is
You think that's normal behavior for hair? That's fine. You can feel that way.
sure. Where's the actual video that comes from?
Right there. Click that one. Click that one. That chick in
Which one?
the blue on the right side of your screen.
Oh, that looks like
That
vomit
chick's
comment,
in a
right?
0G. Yeah. Look at
Yeah,
her hair.
sure.
Look what her
She's
hair
a
does. That's a vomit comment. Look what
sure,
her hair doesn't even come close to matching the astronauts. Do you think
sure.
this girl's like faking it?
Let's see how it doesn't match and which ways it does, which ways it doesn't. Because the moment it doesn't, right?
Watch.
Everywhere before it didn't, and
Look.
now still not,
Ready?
still not. Yeah, you get
Watch how
launched
it
from it. It takes
flows.
you
You
a while to
can't
fall.
get
Yeah,
away
there you
from the
go.
flow.
There you go.
Right there.
That's
You can't
exactly the
get away.
same.
There it
That
is.
looks
When she
exactly the
moves, the
same as the
hair
others.
doesn't stay with her.
Hang
That's
on.
the killer.
Right.
The killer. Right there. Watch her hair. Her head
This
moves,
looks
but the hair doesn't move with her head. That's how
okay.
you know it's a
Okay.
0G environment. Because the hair behaves on its own.
Yeah,
In all
this
them
just
other
looks so
videos, you see
similar to
the
me.
head move, the hair moves with the head. It's like, all right, well, it's in locks, it's locked in.
Well, no, I don't. I see them all. The hair always lags. And this one, the hair's staying on kind of like a helmet and still
Yeah,
lagging.
watch. You'll see
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Let me see. Sure. Yeah, it's
Watch
still
when her head
going when
goes
she
forward
turns
and
her
down.
head.
Right there. You see the hair separate?
Yeah.
Everything
No,
moves. There's
it's
no,
catches up
it's
again.
not
Same as the others.
bulked up. It's not like holding one perfect shape. It's not what it's doing. It's just
It doesn't
floating
look like it's
around
holding a
there.
perfect shape. It looks like it's just hovering near her head, but
Exactly.
actually staying clumped up.
That's what I'm saying. It's not holding a perfect shape. It can't
Yeah,
hold a
none of
perfect
them are
shape when
holding.
there's no when there's no vector. Hair's not going to respond to a vector.
Sure, none of them are holding a perfect shape, though. What are you comparing? I don't understand what you mean. Her
Because
hair looks
all
really
the other
similar to the
that
others.
other lady that you pointed out, you were just showing every time she moved her head, the hair moved
Yeah.
perfectly with her head. When her head moved, the hair moved every time. This one, same thing. The blonde chick, same thing. This lady right here, she moves her head, the whole fucking clump moves with her. And you're like, oh, it's just grease. Okay, then it's just grease. That's what you think. That's fine. I just don't think it. It's that simple.
Yeah, no, it's, I get, I like, I not. I just think that
The,
it's you have to
the,
pick one, right? Where's the
well,
original
the
fat
argument you
chick,
could
Red
make for
Astronaut?
the space lady that was up there for like 20 years or whatever that she claims, the argument you can make she has like thicker hair, maybe. And maybe you could say like it's not cleaned properly. I don't know. Or her hair's been in the same bow or whatever, little fucking hair
This
wrap
chick looks the same
for
though.
like
I
the
don't get what
last
you're
four
saying.
years.
This one clumps together as well, right? Like this
No,
chick's
it's
been
completely
in.
look at
This
it. It's
chick's.
floating around. And then it
What do
sits
you
there when her
mean?
head's still. It's all when
It
she moves her head. Just watch when her head moves, the hair does not stay with the head.
kind of does. It takes a while to catch up, right? This sort of ripple travels down it, but then it
Oh,
does. It stays.
stop it.
Let's
Stop
watch.
it,
So
dude.
what you're
You
saying is
got a chick
her hair
with a
doesn't move
fucking
with her head.
spike. It's all
Yeah, like hers sticks
separated
with
and
her head a lot
everything.
more.
This
Hers is all.
lady's got like the strands on the bottom are going up. Like nothing's going outwards. It's all going upwards. That's for me, that's the telltale. Your whole head of hair is going
Hang on.
upwards. So
This
there's a
woman
vector.
was in gravity 4 minutes ago, right? She was
Yes.
standing upright with her hair straight down, about to shoot a video, and she's a very pretty girl. So she spent a lot of time getting her hair all ready. And then she lay down on a thing and she suddenly now entered zero gravity for the first time. And this woman's been living in it. And you're like, oh, this girl's hair's more down. Of course it is. She was in gravity a minute ago, and this girl hasn't seen gravity in weeks.
So so because the lady's been living in 0G, therefore a vector is created. All right.
No, not one, right? It goes out in every direction.
You
Hers
understand
does
what
look
like a
funny and then it
colics
clumps
are?
together.
Yeah, but you
But
understand like the colics and the
do you
natural
think this is
part
a
of
slam
hair.
dunk? Is this a slam dunk to you?
What do you mean slam dunk? It's
Would you
just
be
enough
like,
for me to be like, all right, the
nailed it?
lady in the red sweater is not in space. That's what that is for me. This lady,
Uh,
I don't really believe that either.
what's wrong with this one's? Because that one seems like it's going really well, right?
It's got
That
a
the
little
hair
wavy
follows her
on the
head.
outs. Yeah,
This and
it puffs
my
out from
point
the
is,
sides. It could be
My
like
point
really
is,
dense or like gross hair, where it's like
mm,
old, like straggly, beat up hair.
yeah,
It's never been like properly maintained. Maybe.
sure. Some of my point is
Dude,
every
right
other
click a
one of
tab.
those crops.
Eggs, right click a
Huh?
tab instead of doing all that. Right
What do you
click
mean? Yeah,
and then go to add. No,
add
add to, yeah, split view.
split view.
Yeah, click that.
Yeah,
And then
right.
drag that.
Oh, does it let me take it in? No.
You might have to copy the address. There you go.
Oh, I didn't know how to find that one. So there's that chick. Oh wow, hers is real flowy. That's what you're
Which one?
after, right? I think this chick. Yeah, hers is gonna be hella flowy.
Yeah, that one. See, even that has a little bit of a vector though, like away from her head, but that's kind of like, that's a lot better,
It's
you know?
wild, right? How would you replicate that? What would you do to replicate that?
Create a vector.
What do you mean? Where's the vector though? Like her hair's going in a certain direction, but there's no consistent vector pulling it in any particular direction,
Yeah, it
right?
is. It's you see the hair, right, coming off her head on the side. So she needs either something that like causes the hair to stay stuck in that orientation, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not naturally
It's
away.
just what hair does though, isn't it? I'm so confused by
No,
you're confused
no,
by
it's
that.
not what hair does, dude. You ever date a fucking hairdresser, dude? What do you want about?
This is exactly what hair does
Your hair
underwater.
is not. Your hair does not all just all the like the like you have like pots, natural pots in your head. You have
Yeah.
colics, all kinds of wacky
What
shit
is a
going on.
part?
A natural pot is like
Yeah.
the path your hair grows into.
Half
Like
your
your
hair
hair will
grows. What do
grow
you mean?
forward in the front, you know,
Okay. So it's got a
and
vector.
then like
The
some people have
follicles
that like,
themselves have a vector, is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they have a preference
Ah.
for the direction they grow, and when you pull
So
your
there's a
hair back, it
preference for
actually
a
breaks
direction
it.
for hair. Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
that
We're
this
agreeing
chick,
there.
I kind of get it, because like you could be like, oh, the shit they're putting in there doesn't really wash out well, therefore she puts her hair back, so it kind of just stays like that. I could be like, all right,
Yeah.
that looks
If I was
somewhat
in a
legit.
command, if I was in a pod with her, I'd be constantly like, "Can you tie your hair up? Can you please shave your fucking head? We
Yeah.
don't need that long hair in
Well, that's what
space."
I
It'd
would
be
think
stuck
too.
in so
Like,
many
bitch, what are
instruments.
you doing? Why are you not containing all them hair strands? That's going everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you? Why why are they even allowing all this shit in space? Like, just shave your head. That would cause problems. All them hands, fucking strands of hair floating around everywhere. The fuck is that? That'd be unacceptable for me. But you really want to go to space? Prove it.
Yeah, but give yourself a buzz cut. Like,
Yeah.
like you're going to lose muscle density. Yeah, but how would you do this? They're still looking at this, right? She's now running her hair through her hand through her hair a lot. She's putting
Yeah,
water
look
in
at
it.
all
She's
that
blowing the
fucking
foam in.
all that hair breaking off and just floating off into fucking
Oh my
who
god,
knows
yeah, I was
where.
thinking that before. I was like, the number of times you'd
Like, it's
wake
so
up and they'd be running your
dirty,
mouth. You'd be like, "Fucking Jenny, shave your goddamn head."
right? Like
um,
that's what I'd be thinking. I'd be like, "What are you making a mess? It's all over where the food is, where our clean
yeah.
room is."
What do you like?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't just
I
don't
don't know how
accept it
you'd
at face
film it,
value, man. It's that simple
but
for
at
me.
face value,
And
that
now
looks
hold on,
so
hold on.
good to me.
Scroll.
If they're
Oh,
faking
you
it, they're
missed
faking. Okay,
you
okay,
missed the
all right.
lady's
Go on.
original hair. Right there. Look what her hair normally looks like, how thin it is.
This chick,
No, go down, go down. That one right there, the ugly old lady. Look at her hair
Sunita
on
Williams.
Earth. Yeah, look at her hair on Earth. Look how thin it is.
Sure, she's an old lady, and she got all knocked up and knocked about
Yeah, but
by
look at it right there in that, like in the still. You can see it's all straight, you know? Like
this
that
one. You
hair
mean?
would be a frizzy mess in space. Instead, it's like all
Yeah, it looks
clumped
like a
up.
frizzy mess.
No, it's all clumped up though.
What do you
It's
mean?
not
That looks like
frizzy.
this is so not an objective conversation. This is just like your gut feeling of how you think women's hair, of all things. How long is your hair,
Okay.
out of interest?
Nowadays, it's
How
I'm clean cut.
how clean cut?
I don't grow my hair long.
Okay, what's the longest you've ever
If I
grown
grow
your
it out,
hair?
it might the longest I've ever had it down to my nipples.
Holy shit. Okay. And how thick was it? And what kind was it? Was it
I have
wavy,
thin hair.
curly, straight?
I have thin
Thin
hair.
hair.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Would it have been different? Would you have had things you wouldn't have even predicted if your
But
hair
my
was
brother's
thick
got
or
really thick
wavy
hair.
or
My brother's got really thick hair. And
yeah.
I don't know. His hair. He had like long hair for a bit.
Yeah.
I'd say after he put mousse in it, like his hair would probably act like this if he gelled it up or something, then went to sleep, woke up in the morning and didn't take a
So
shower or whatever, and then it's like, all right, here's like the after effect. That's what it looks like. Or like blow drying your
yeah.
hair out. I mean, to me, that's kind of what it
I
looks
think
like.
I think I just it would require me to have your confidence to know confidently what hair would already look like in space. I'd have to know that there is a thing it should look like, that it wasn't matching. And I think if you sent me and you said, Harry, you're the
Yeah.
first person to go into space, I would be
Yeah,
like,
that
I
chick
wonder
right
what
there
my
in the
hair's
blue
going to look
jumper.
like.
The chick in the blue jumper showed
Yes.
me what zero G looks like with hair, with thin hair. In zero G, it just
Yeah. So
flows,
you're
all
saying her
luscious.
hair looks right?
This
The one on the
lady,
right now, Sunita? Or you
yeah,
mean
the
the
one
blue
on the right,
jumpsuit?
in the other picture, it looked like she had very dry, thin hair. And
Sure.
in
Yeah,
this
it looks all
picture, it looks
mess.
like she has very dense, like thick hair.
What? No, it
So,
still looks thin to me. Look how much you can see through it. No way, that's very thin hair.
dude, that looks fucking dense as hell.
Well, I mean, but this is so
It's
subjective.
like a
Like
mop,
thick or
bro.
dense,
That shit looks
thick
like a
or dense
fucking mop.
compared to what? Like, are we going like follicles per square inch of scalp or something?
I
Like,
don't know
this is
what
just
you're on about. You're on
so
some
devoid
weird
of.
shit.
But like, there should be better
You
evidence than
measuring the
like her
density? I'm
hair
just
look
saying,
doesn't.
going off. Yeah, like
What
dense
is this
hair.
telling us? If her hair was more or
Thick
less
hair
dense, then
doesn't
space
tend
is
to
fake.
lay straight, right? That's what I would say. Thick hair
Land the
doesn't
ship,
tend
but land
to
it
lay
for me. How
straight.
does this? How does this tell us about the truth or falseness of whether there's a vector when they make
So
these
if
videos in
all right,
space?
so if you're like, oh, this is what your hair would do with NASA shampoo, I'd be like, okay. At first, I would be like, just for me to believe that, I'd have to have some shampoo similar to NASA, and then, you know,
What?
see the results of that.
I'm
Does
so
it
not.
does it make my hair thick? Because if it does, I'd be like, all right, well, let me find a way to copy this patent in a way where it's legally
Oh, so you've
acceptable, and then I'm
but
gonna
you've just
sell it.
accepted that her
Then I'm
hair is
gonna
gotten
sell it to
thicker.
people because men have and women have thinning hair problems, and this is gonna create a thicker head of hair, and people are
Are
just
you
gonna eat
thinning at the
that shit
moment?
up, and I'm gonna be rich, and then I'll go
I'm
to space. How about
okay.
that? And I'll
Okay.
take a
So
little
you it
fucking my
seems
own
like
personal
you're
Jeff
just
Bezos flight to
it's
space with
it
my
seems like you're
billions.
it's that to be true. You would make a lot of money if you dealt with male pattern baldness. Are you thinning? Because I'm thinning. I'm thinning quite seriously.
I have
Would,
receding hairline, but the hair
yeah.
itself isn't
Would you
thinning.
agree your hair looks more or less full or more or less receding from different angles on different days in different photos? Because certainly it does look thicker or less thick depending on just which way I brush it.
Yeah, sure. Oh, it's all how you style it, you saying?
Yeah,
Does that
yeah,
affect it? Sure.
yeah. Okay, so could that be the difference between this Sunita Williams video where you're saying it looks thick and another one where you're saying it looks thin? Could that just be doing to styling or light or touching up of the photo that we don't know about, or literally anything other than those videos were not shot in a vector of down? Like the
Yeah,
whole
I mean
space
that's what I
program
mean.
is fake because her
It looks
hair's getting all.
styled. Yeah, to me it
I want to
looks
go for
styled.
strong arguments, and I think like her hair's not thick isn't biting me. What's a strong argument that these videos aren't from zero G? Because they look like they're from zero G, right?
I already gave you one. No, no, that's
Look
what
at
I'm saying. They don't look like they're from zero G because unless we look at the blue jumper chick and we're like, oh, that wasn't really a zero G environment. Then I'll be like, all right, well, hair doesn't do that in a zero G environment. But if we're gonna
how would
say
you know that?
that's a zero G environment, then I'm gonna expect hair to do that, right?
So
I'm
you're
expect it
saying
to not
you
keep up
know
with the
what hair
head.
would
When
do.
her head moves, all the hair on her head moves with it. So to me, that's either she has really thick, packed in hair, right? But then or it's like something like it's styled preferred way. But then we see her on Earth and we're like, holy shit, her hair is not really thick like that. It's like straight, long, and so it's like, all right,
It could be styling,
that
though, you
doesn't make
said. So
sense.
this is just then that's just two different days of styling. That's all I would have to believe, given what you said. It could have been styled so it clumped together. Sure, somebody might do it one day and not the other. It might be easier to do one day and not the other based on how greasy it is.
Yeah, sure, sure. You can say it's all styled.
Like Because you know what I mean? Like, it just gets sebum-y in between washes.
It gets
But
what?
would you say this is a strong argument? Like, if I, because
But if it
I'm
keeps
here
your hair
being like,
clean,
give me.
dude, I would sell that if I was NASA. I'd put that shit in the market because women love that thick, like full head of hair. They could do all kinds of things with styling. So I would put that in the. If this is what NASA shampoo does to women with thin hair or
Mhm.
even men with thin hair, I'd put that shit in the market and I'd be like, all right, make some money.
So, but link it for me. What's the shampoo got to do with the fact that these shots look like they're from zero G?
What do you mean?
Because the shampoo doesn't
It
fix the
changed the
fact
way
that
her
these things.
hair is on land versus in space. Her hair looks
Sure, and it
completely
should it
fucking
look
different.
different in should it look different on land as it does in space, same as it does in water?
Well, it depend on the shampoo, I guess, right? If this is special
No, it'd
NASA
also
shampoo that
depend on the
gives you a thicker
vectors
head of
and the
hair,
forces. It'll depend on the forces and lots of things, right? It's not just going to be the shampoo. That's my point. But like,
yeah,
there's a
all right
million
then.
different things
That
to
if
look at, and
all right then,
you're
if
going to
the
gain the
shampoo
least
keeps her
data.
hair the same, but if the shampoo keeps her hair the same, then why does it change?
What do you mean? I don't know what you're saying. You sound like you know her shampooing things. I'm saying, would you want to go for the best data or the worst
What?
data? Would you say this is strong data? Because I think the fact that his um, peanut butter tub is floating through the air, or the fact that she's banging these things and they just keep floating around, these kind of things are other bits of data that are strong. And hair
Yeah,
might have
yeah.
something, but is it shampoo that's going to hold that data for us when it comes to zero G? Is an argument about shampoo?
No,
Land
it's
it
going to
for
be
me. I'm just not
everything.
finding the
It's going to
link.
be everything together. That's what I mean. You're looking at like the positives. You're like, oh, well, look at this. This looks legit. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
let's
looks
find other
legit. All
mistakes.
right. All right.
Like the
Well, now
shampoo is a
dig through
mistake.
it and find out the anomaly. See if there is anomaly. And then if there
Mhm.
is an anomaly, why is there an anomaly?
Okay, so you're
Right?
saying in
Because
this one,
it's
her
like
hair
all
looks,
that
is it
stuff I'm looking
thinner?
at on the left, I've seen in movies before. Where I know that movie, they're not in space, right? They didn't go up to space to fill fucking Matthew McConaughey, right? They didn't do all that. They didn't put Matt Damon in space going around the moon just to film that movie. So it's like, all right, I
Sure.
see that behavior, and I'm like, oh, cool, yeah,
So you're saying this woman, when she was in space, her hair was thicker or thinner than it is normally? Because we've got lots of photos of it. We can just keep clicking through them.
yeah. It looks kind of thin, for the most part. You see it straight, like it goes behind her ears. It's all straight. Looks relatively thin. Maybe at like I don't know.
Sure.
Like look
Relatively
at it.
thin by
You
how
know what I
much?
mean?
Like, it's kind of normal old lady hair for me a little bit.
I didn't gauge
Normal
it,
old
bro. I don't
India.
know what you're
India.
asking me. I see that hair
Well,
right
I think
there.
your
The
argument
hair
is
I'm
about
looking
her
at, the
hair. I want to
lady
just
on
bring
the
and make
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, the lady on the right, I'm looking, the hair looks straight. Then I look at her in space. Holy shit, it creates natural curls in space. What are you putting in your hair to get natural curls? Because women on Earth would eat that shit up. They'd be flocking to the stores to buy that for natural curls. Just put a product in their hair like shampoo. Hey, lady, shampoo your hair with this product, and guess what? It's going to give you natural curls. Guess what? They're all going to buy it. They're at least going to buy it and use it for a little bit and play around with the I have curly hair now instead of like thin fucking frizzy hair,
I don't know.
right?
She
So
looked. It
I'd
just
make
doesn't
a
look that different. It
fortune.
just still. I don't get what you're saying. Like,
You
there
don't see
already
the
are many
curls?
things. Do, when you had hair down to your nipples, was it always the same amount of curliness, or were some days curlier
Yeah.
than others?
No, I don't have curly hair. I have straight thin hair.
When you say straight, like Asian people have super straight hair, like can't curl it. Are you talking that straight?
Close to it. Yeah. Thin,
Right. Okay.
straight hair.
Have you seen Indian girls?
I'm not Indian.
Right, she is, and they got Indian
Yeah.
hair.
I can see her hair, dude, on Earth. And I can see her hair in space.
Yeah, people have
How long
Very
have you
curlier.
much
guys been
different.
They
talking
don't. They
about
have.
hair?
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Apparently,
Egg's
this is the
giving up
best.
on it. He's not giving me an
I
inch.
keep
He's
saying, let's
fighting
look
me
at.
every step of the way.
I just
Yeah,
feel
I
like
wouldn't either. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just this has been going on a while. I don't
it has. It
like.
has.
What are you guys even?
You said you wouldn't give him an inch either. Is that
No,
because
that's
you have
stupid.
like major confirmation bias and it's impossible to see it any other way? It's only possible to see it the way that you're interpreting it. Therefore, it's impossible for you to give an inch.
I could grant it. I could grant all of it and say, yeah, her hair is thinner in one than another, and is curlier in one than another. And my point is, we are no closer to determining whether these videos were shot in a 0G environment. That's the question I'm trying to ask. Do you think they were?
What's a 0G environment? What is that?
Well, it could be in the water where there's no consistent vector of down because you're buoyant. It could be in a vomit comet where there's no consistent vector of down because you're going down at a sufficient speed, or it could be in space.
So the same pressure everywhere. Like in water, though, isn't there like a pressure? Like it gets more pressure the deeper you go. So there is like a vector there.
There's still a vector, but what I'm saying is for you, for your body, for your hair, for things like that, for things that are neutrally buoyant, that you can treat that. Like that's what the reason I include that is that's what some people claim that a lot of the ISS shots are done with, and that is with tanks, right? With water tanks, right? So I'm including that because I think it would work for the purposes we're saying, that your hair would float in all directions. You could swim effortlessly gliding in the middle of a room from one room to another. You've effectively
Your
cancelled
hair
out the
doesn't
heat.
look like what they're showing in these videos underwater. That's for sure. They look different, right? You at least admit that underwater looks totally different than what these
Sure.
The
videos.
water's not a great example.
Yeah.
But
It's not
Yeah, I
not the
don't think
best
that
because
lady's
it's much
underwater,
more
dude.
exactly. So we can cut that one out. And do you think
Unless she's in a
then?
container.
Do you then, Tora? Do you reckon she was? This is shot in a 0G environment. Like, could these be really long vomit comet trips or something?
I can't make that determination because, like Pure said, I've seen Matt Damon in space. I've seen Sandra Bullock in space, George Clooney in space. So it's hard for me to make the determination if they are actually in that environment or if they're using, some of the effects that they used in those movies. I don't know. How would I know?
Give me one of them. Let's find the longest. Let's find a really good film one, and I think we can find a million errors. Because that's one of the things.
Eggshells. Short hair,
it's
no
actually
movies.
it's a good point. Hold on. So movies are obviously fake, right? Movies are fake as can be. We know they are. Like the movie Gravity is obviously not real. They're not in 0G. They totally faked it, right? But if we pulled up that movie, you could do the same thing. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, look at the hair's moving good, and there's no indication that it's fake, even though we know it's fake. But you're not gonna be able to, like, dude, if I thought Gravity was real and I asked you, you have to prove to me this is a movie, Eggshells. Prove to me this is a fake movie. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. That's how
I
good it
could,
looks.
yeah. I'm going to do it now. I think it's a great idea. So we could do Apollo 13 space scenes, Gravity. I haven't seen any of Gravity's. Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, debunk Gravity. Let's go right now,
Yeah.
because for
That's
me
a
to be
good one.
convinced that it's a movie, you have to just blow it out of the water. You have to show every single, just tons of problems that are just so obvious it's fake. You won't be able to do it. It's very good. That's the point, dude. Movie magic, man. They can make anything look real.
Sure. I think I'm going to show for one. I'm going to show you that there's going to be a shot every like quintillionth of a second. Anytime they're doing anything that looks properly 0G, it's either going to be very, 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 very expensive or very, very short. Whereas these are very, very long, boring.
Do you at least agree with that point, though? Like, anything that we are going to be taking in through a screen has a middleman there, which it can be messed with at that point. So it's like we couldn't 100% certain be like, yeah, nobody mess with this. Like, wouldn't it be more sufficient if you were actually in the ISS in the 0G and then you'd be like, yeah, I know for sure this is going on. But
That's an
when you're
impossible
taking
standard.
someone else, when you're taking someone else's testimony for it, isn't it technically like a faith-based claim? Like you're
No, we're looking at the evidence. We're looking
trusting
at the
that
evidence.
individual being honest.
I said,
Well,
what is the good
that's not
evidence?
empirical though, because like
Yes, it is.
if I'm trying to be empirical about it, wouldn't I have to be in the ISS to experience that? Like, don't you agree that you know something like you really know it when you experience it?
No, I think you can experience something and not know it, which is why we don't have people do science themselves. They don't tell us what happened to them. We look from the outside and blind the experiment, so we don't just ask people what happened. What we do is take in data, and data is like pixels in this, or the waving of the hair. We could.
So then you agree then the Bible should be true, right? The Bible story is true then.
No.
Oh, you
But
have no
you're doing
evidence to
with
prove it wrong. See, what I'm saying is, I'm saying
what?
like whenever we're looking at something that we're not directly experiencing ourselves, there is an aspect of trust that comes in. Can you at least admit that?
Sure, yeah, I think that's true.
Okay, that's my point. Thank you.
Sure, there's trust that comes in, and there's trust but verify, right? There are things that you can check. So all of this super easy to fake, particularly by hiding all of her hair. All of the rest of this stuff is in suits, so it's easy to do anywhere you want. You can do it in a tank. You can do it out in real space. You can do it on wires. No problem with any of that stuff. That's pretty good. So that tiny little clip there was very good. But what I'm saying is you can just get points of data. You can just look. Empiricism is gathering information. And if you're saying, oh, I don't need to check it, I already know that it's false without gathering any information, then you're just abdicating doing the actual thing. See that?
Sorry,
There you go.
empiricism
Confirmation
is
bias.
based off
So
of
there you go. Her hair
experiment.
doesn't
Hold
look
on.
right. Bang, here we go.
Empiricism is
I've been needing more art in my bedroom and recently painted this canvas.
Whereas
Well,
these are very, very long, boring,
do
single
you at
point.
least agree with that point though? Like anything that we are going to be taking in through a screen has a middleman there, which it can be messed with at that point. So it's like we couldn't 100% certain be like, yeah, nobody mess with this. Like, wouldn't it be more sufficient if you were actually in the ISS in the 0G and then you'd be like, yeah, I know for sure this is going on.
That's
But
an
when you're
impossible
taking
standard.
someone else, when you're taking someone else's testimony for it, isn't it technically like a faith-based claim? Like you're
No.
No, we're looking at the
trusting
evidence. We're looking at the
that
evidence of.
individual being honest.
I said,
Well,
what is the good
that's not
evidence?
empirical though, because like
Yes, it is.
if I'm trying to be empirical about it, wouldn't I have to be in the ISS to experience that? Like, don't you
Nonsense.
agree
No.
that you know something like
No,
you really know it when you experience it?
no, I think you
No.
can experience something and not know it, which is why we don't have people do science themselves. They don't tell us what happened to them. We look from the outside and blind the experiment, so we don't just ask people what happened. What we do is take in data, and data is like pixels in this, or the waving of the hair. We could
So then you
come up
agree
with.
then the Bible should be true, right? The Bible story is
No,
true then.
no.
Oh, you
But
have no
you're doing
evidence to
with
prove it wrong. See, what I'm saying is, I'm saying
what?
like whenever we're looking at something that we're not directly experiencing ourselves, there is an aspect of trust that comes in. Can you at least admit that?
Sure, yeah, I think that's true.
Okay, that's my point. Thank you.
Sure, there's trust that comes in, and there's trust but verify, right? There are things that you can check. So all of this super easy to fake, particularly by hiding all of her hair. All of the rest of this stuff is in suits, so it's easy to do anywhere you want. You can do it in a tank. You can do it out in real space. You can do it on wires. No problem with any of that stuff. That's pretty good. So that tiny little clip there was very good. But what I'm saying is you can just get points of data. You can just look. Empiricism is gathering information. And if you're saying, oh, I don't need to check it, I already know that it's false without gathering any information, then you're just abdicating doing the actual thing. See that?
Sorry,
There you go.
empiricism
Confirmation
is
bias.
based off
So
of
there you go. Her hair
experiment.
doesn't
Hold
look
on.
right. Bang, here we go.
Empiricism is based off of experimentation, not off of theories and speculation. Empiricism does not work with speculation.
You know what?
Fine. I'm
What?
saying gather data. The data I've got on my screen here shows somebody. I get this is cut in, but this is somebody else attempting to imitate space, right? So they've cut in a gem song apparently. Sorry, I got the wrong video. But look at her hair. She's trying to fake a space scene one. Look at her hair. So in Sandra
it's a
Bullock,
giveaway.
they've given her, they've given her no hair.
That's my point.
Right. So it's not doing any of what any of the others are. Straight away, the thing we went to look for. They've
No,
covered
you went
her
for the
hair.
hair. That was your instinct. Look at the hair. It's all fucked up. I'm saying,
That's
well,
what
look
we were
at the
talking
story.
about.
That's what we were
Hair's all
talking
fucked
about.
up.
Oh my god. Oh my
All
god.
right,
I
well,
feel
there
like
you
this
go.
is
It's the
bleeding.
inconsistency. The inconsistency is the hair. And you're like, okay.
Wow.
No, it's not.
I don't feel like we're getting through to one another. I think I should.
Did you debunk gravity? Did you debunk it?
I mean, we haven't found anything that's very good yet.
I mean, with gravity, you can point to all of the behind the scenes stuff and everyone on the crew basically admitting that that's a that's a film. Like, do we have any analog for that for NASA?
Oh, of
Like, people
course. No,
saying,
dude, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the ones that look super real, regardless of the information of the crew is going to tell you, yeah, we were in a film studio. Everyone agrees that that movie was in a film studio. The point being is that let's take a scene from that movie and prove that you can point to it and say, look, this is how you know it's in a film studio versus this ISS video is not in a film studio. That's what your burden is at this point.
Detached in space. Is this the seed scene? This is not going to do it. We're in suits there. What you want is running out of oxygen. Is that what you want? Does she have her hair out the whole time here?
Right, what you really need to do is go to Interstellar
So
and
that's
wait till
pretty.
they go on the planet with the big ass wave, and then you gotta tell me, you gotta debunk that wave.
So they've got wires out here. That's really good because we should see how they waggle when she hits really different things. So that's good. They've done that really nicely with that one. Yep.
Well, how they fake it? How they
Huh?
fake it, eggs? How is
with a
that
massive
possible
budget.
if they're not in 0G?
What do you mean? Massive budget, but also notice what they're cheaping out on, right? This could be done in
Massive budget.
with G.
There you go. Well,
Sure.
that's something
But
that
there's
they
no
got in
hair.
common with NASA.
It's not very convincing, is it? Like it's not bad, but it's not.
You think their budget was larger than $60 million a day for Gravity?
Gravity just did one thing. Gravity just made the film. These guys have to keep faking
Yeah,
a light
so-
going overhead and this and that and constantly sending up fake rockets. These guys had to make one fake thing. Should be costing them $60 billion a day if they're faking gravity continually.
It is $60 million a day was their budget during the film.
Here's one thing that I
What's the
don't
film's?
see.
Why don't you look up the film's budget real quick for us?
Here's one thing that I hadn't expected to see, but now I really do, is people always have that blood-filled face like they're hanging upside down, and it's not very attractive. If you get you get this kind of puffy look to their face where they are, come on, show me them on the bloody thing. We need to have a chat with them while they're up there. So these guys will have ordinary faces, and these guys, when we get to them, will have these faces. See how like their cheeks are kind of raised? It's like they're nearly like they're hanging upside down, whereas she's
Yeah,
still
like
got
the
this
black
on.
dude in Artemis.
your stream isn't starting for me. Is that just me? Can everyone else see it?
Oh, I can't look
I
at
can
a
see
screen.
it.
Yeah, so it's uncool stuff here with the gloves and everything floating around.
How'd
Here's
they
something
do
else
that,
that
though?
tells.
How'd they fake that
Oh.
if they're not in 0G?
I mean, I'm also seeing they've got this on a really quite automated tracking rig rotating, right? The camera itself is rotating. The person is famous.
Even the pants.
do you
How do
mean
you
the
think
pants?
they
Yeah,
faked
but
that?
the answer to the
That's-
question was their budget, though, right? He already answered your
okay.
question. How do they fake it? Well, huge budget. Okay, does NASA have a huge budget? Yes.
That's not
So
an
how
answer.
would they fake it? The same answer.
No, a huge budget is not an answer. That's not a method.
Well, that was
That
your
was a
answer.
very good.
Well, how much
All right.
0G footage do you get from this for that budget, and how much does NASA get out to us? Because NASA
How many
does
minutes?
live streams.
How many
the last
minutes
hour.
has she been in this room? You think they're on a rocket comet right now? Of course they're in space, dude. They're not on a rocket. She's not in a rocket comet
No,
with this
but-
whole scene. Of course.
Can I show you
she's in
this
space.
bit?
Look how
Let's
long
watch-
it hasn't
let's-
cut once, dude. What are you
Sure,
talking
let's watch-
about? This is
let's watch this
definitely
bit.
filmed
Let's-
in space.
So let's watch this bit. Watch this bit. Watch her getting off her pants. Isn't that just weird? Isn't everything about that just weird? Watch it again, particularly when it leaves her hands just out of the shot. She's not really touching anything, I think.
You
you'll
sound
find.
like a
Even
flat
if I just say-
earther. That's
Watch
what
it,
we
watch it,
say.
watch it
We say,
again, watch it
doesn't that
again.
just look weird?
Watch it again. Watch it
She
again.
kicks it away with her feet.
Well, how much 0G footage do you get from this for that budget, and how much does NASA get out to us? Because NASA
How many
does
minutes?
live streams.
How
the
many
last
minutes
hour.
has she been in this room? You think they're on a rocket comet right now? Of course they're in space, dude. They're not on a rocket. She's not in a rocket comet with
No,
this
but
whole scene. Of course
can I show you
she's in
this
space.
bit?
Look how
Let's
long
watch.
it hasn't
Let's
cut once, dude. What are you
sure,
talking about? This is
let's watch this
definitely
bit.
filmed in space.
So let's watch this bit. Watch this bit. Watch her getting off her pants. Isn't that just weird? Isn't everything about that just weird? Watch it again, particularly when it leaves her hands just out of the shot. She's not really touching anything. I think
You
you'll
sound
find.
like a
Even
flat
Candace said-
earther. That's what we say.
Watch it
We say,
again. Watch it
doesn't
again.
that just look weird?
Watch it again. Watch it
She
again.
kicks it away with her feet.
Does it just look right? Does that look like how you'd take that off? It doesn't, right? It looks wrong.
In a zero-G environment? And yeah,
Watch it.
maybe. I don't know. I've never been in a
Even the way
zero-G
it's
environment.
folding, even the way it's folding doesn't look quite right, but it's specifically she's just not taking them off. She starts
Yeah,
this
I
shot
mean that'd be
from-
the material, right?
She
How
might
much
still be
was
real
it
here,
cracked?
but at some point during this they've switched and now she's got fake pants on. Those are fake. The entire pants are fake. That's why she takes ages getting them off and they just slide away. Whereas normally she would, you can tell I'm right. So from here, quite likely real pants. Maybe not. I would struggle to tell.
Okay, where did they cut the
real
screen
pants.
again? And where does this?
When she turns away, I would do it while she's turning away. So somewhere there, you just have a
So
plate
right
and you send
here
her back in there.
they did like
'Cause
an
all this
overlay.
stuff's composite. All this stuff's added in later. So the only stuff that needs to be real is her in the background, and you need to match her where she is in the shot before to the shot after, which you can do a bit of tweening. It's called in between this and that. And
Right.
now I just don't
Now-
think those pants are real for this whole shot. You get what I'm saying?
Now, why can't they do that with the footage you were watching prior?
That's not what we're asking. We're asking if we could find something
No,
wrong.
that's
Do you
what I'm
agree with me?
asking.
There's something deeply
You
creepy about the
found
way
an
those pants are moving?
anomaly. Yeah, you
Sure.
found an anomaly, and I'm like, okay, you think all this is happening in whatever order, you think this is fake, and you think they could splice it perfectly to give it the illusion that it's actually happened, but you sense something's off. Okay, why could they not do that with the other footage you were watching earlier?
Look at her hair. Look at her hair. This is what we came here for. Look at her hair. They couldn't stand to make her as ugly as Sunita Williams. Someone would do this because you were just wearing a cap, right? It'd be all gummed together.
This is what all the men's hair is doing. All men have that haircut in space, and that's what men's hair does in space.
True. But the question was, does it stay together when you're in 0G and when you're faking 0G? And it's interesting.
It does for the men. Just the women's hair goes crazy. All the men's hair is always pretty good. Look at those dudes.
And then these guys just sit there and riff for hours. They could reach up at any time and touch any one of these things. So anytime they're doing that, they would have to be coordinated with a CGI team comparable to what they've got on the team of Gravity, who have to be ready to move everything just right.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
here's the
Disney
laser.
worked with NASA like side by side. He was like in photos with them, everything. Yeah, and then we have
Sure.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. They say that it was filmed in a studio. Like, where would they even come up with that idea? You know what I mean?
How do those even relate to what I said, though? We're trying to discuss 0G. What does the Red Hot Chili Peppers have to do with detecting 0G in videos?
How it relates is Hollywood and this seem to be tied very closely together, including that Disney has been, photographed with the people from NASA.
That could be
The
true.
Red Hot
or
Chili Peppers were
untrue.
in on it.
You fucking censored me like a fascist fucking bitch. Thanks, Gio. Well played.
What the fuck?
Everything you said, Tora, could be true, and there still could be a vector of down in a space station. So it doesn't have any bearing on whether these videos show it's something.
Well, I
that looks
think
like
I don't
in
think you
space.
have anything exclusive yet. You haven't made any. I think that so far
That's what
we
I'm
have come
waiting
to
for.
the conclusion that okay, they could fake it with the movie Gravity, therefore they can fake it with this if they wanted to. Like, you haven't proven that this isn't.
I think I
fake,
found
like,
fake pants. I think those pants moved in very weird ways, and nobody.
I think the lady's hair is moving in very weird ways, and nobody's saying anything. See, it's the
Is
same
it weird in
argument
what
back
way?
and forth,
Weird in,
bro.
but weird in. I described weird in what way? That goes off her legs. The last bit of its journey off.
I
the
gave
bottom
you
of
the
her leg.
line off her nose. I gave you the exact thing that I was saying. That seems weird. Told you the line off her nose.
Yeah, that's not very strong for me. Like
Well,
my
the
one on
pants,
Gravity might
you
not
could
be.
just say she kicked them away with her feet because you see her legs moving, right? In the,
Sure,
the
yeah,
film
you
Gravity.
could, yeah,
Like,
and
all
it could
right,
be done
they
in 0G.
move weird because she's kicking them.
Sure, I could have taken her pants
You
off
don't
in
see
0G.
what her feet
I don't
are
know.
doing.
I may have that wrong. I don't think that just because
Well,
I
I
see
could just
something
ad
weird,
hoc.
I've proven
You
something.
get what I'm saying? I don't need an
Yeah.
explanation. I could ad hoc as well to refute you and be like, well, it could
Exactly,
be
that's
this,
what you're
it could
doing.
be that.
been
Are
doing
you
it.
even a real
That's
man
doing.
if you've
A
never
whole
taken
That's
a
MO.
what Eggs
woman's
has been doing to
bath?
me.
Pure. No, Pure.
I
That's your
point out
whole
an
MO. I
anomaly, and
saw
Eggs is
hair and it
ad
looks
hocking
weird.
why that anomaly is not an anomaly. So I'm doing
No,
the same for his
Yeah, you're just
gravity.
claiming it's an anomaly, though.
yeah, you're doing the ad
Yes,
hoc thing. You're
yes,
just randomly
I
going
am
hair.
because you see the hair right on
That's what you're
Earth
doing.
looks completely different than in
I
space.
don't see
You're
that.
saying
Well, it looks different
that's
than in
normal.
space, but
All
you're
right,
saying
well
that
you
it
can
looks different
reject
than it
it.
should look if it were
You just
real. That's what
reject
you're
it,
saying.
guys. You're saying the hair looks the same. All right, fine, take that position.
Did you not
Nobody's
hear
gonna
what I just said?
dispute that.
Maybe you were talking through me, so I didn't actually hear what I said.
Yeah,
That's
you
fine.
said I'm wrong that it looks different. The hair looks different in
Not
space, right?
different.
It doesn't look
Different
different in
than it
space.
should look. Right? That's your argument, is that it
No,
shouldn't look
no,
like what
that's
we're
not
seeing
my
on that screen.
argument. That's the argument you want to give me, right?
That it
I'm
should
saying
I'm not
look
making
different
that.
in
right.
space is
Okay.
obvious. It should look different in a gravity environment and a non-gravity environment. That's not under contention. You're saying what we're seeing in that ISS footage is not what we should be seeing. That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is I do not expect, right? I can look at some zero G environment footage of how hair responds. Okay.
Hmm.
And then I can
What
say,
kind of hair?
compare that to this astronaut lady. And then be
Hmm.
like, wow, that's completely different. And then I could be like, all right, well, maybe she just has some weird type of hair where it's all clumpy and thick and really dense head of hair. But then I can see the pictures of her on Earth, and I can be like, well, she's got thin, straight hair that falls
Yeah, I was
straight
here
down.
for the whole. You don't need the breakdown.
So
So
why do
there's
you
several
need me?
different people.
Where's
There's
the
several.
confusion?
I don't need you to, because that's not what you're saying. Like that's what you're saying. You're saying now, but that's not what you were saying.
That's what
There's
I've been
several
saying.
different
You just
people
said
in the
you've been here
ISS,
for the
right? There's a whole
argument,
bunch of different people. Yeah, I was. There's a whole bunch of different people that we can look
and
at.
I'm
They all
repeating
have
myself,
different
right?
hair. The hair is all behaving differently, right? Correct?
We're talking about one woman, right? One woman.
I'm
We
talking
have
about
two.
multiple now because you guys looked at
Okay, well,
multiple
just
women
try
too.
and
You had the
stick to
girl
one.
doing no. You had the girl fixing
No,
like talking about
what are
shampooing
you
her
doing,
hair,
bro?
right? There's a whole
You're
bunch
getting
of different
mad.
people, and you're focusing on one person like it proves anything. There's hair does different things, and we see that different
Okay,
heads
I'm
of
trying to.
hair. Unless you have the same woman in the vomit comet and in the ISS footage, what are you comparing to what?
So the hair, how hair responds, okay? And we're trying to take it
How you think it should respond?
one step at a time. All right. This in gravity, right? This is how the hair responds. Okay. With no gravity, should we expect the hair to become curly? The answer for me would be no. But for
What do you
you,
mean
you're like, this
become
is wrong.
curly?
Her fucking hair has curls, dude. Do you not see that?
Yeah,
Your
her hair
eyes
is
are
wavy.
busted. Yeah, and curly. Yes, those are things that are factual in the observation, unless you want to reject the observation.
How is that different from when she was on Earth? Like the pictures I saw
Because
of
her
her on
hair's
Earth,
all curly
she
on
still has
Earth. She
wavy.
doesn't have natural waves. She
It's
doesn't have natural
wavy.
curves.
Pull
Dude, she
up.
doesn't
Where's
have
that?
natural.
Eggs. Pull up the
Oh,
picture
fuck.
again.
Which picture?
For fuck's sake, we're gonna get another fucking 2 hours talking about goddamn hair. The picture of her on Earth.
Well, I mean, you already answered the questions,
Hang
right?
on a
With
second.
two answers.
So look at her hair. What the fuck is
Yeah.
that?
You're being very assertive today, Manufacto.
It's wavy fucking hair. That's what wavy hair looks like.
Sounds like you
That's
woke
my
up on the
fucking hair.
wrong side of the
Yeah,
bed.
that's styled hair. Now look at her in her
What do you
astronaut
mean
uniform.
styled?
When she doesn't have product in her hair, right? And
What
she's not
product?
dressed up and she doesn't have makeup on, look at her in her astronaut suit.
Look at this
Get that
scene.
picture. And you can
Look at
see
this
what her
scene.
hair really looks like because it doesn't have product in it.
That is what
So
her
the
hair really
expanse,
looks like.
No, it's
the
not. She's got
expanse is
fucking makeup
fairly,
on. Is that what her face really looks like?
the expanse is
Makeup
fairly
is
high
not the same.
budget,
Oh fucking shit, man.
and this
Bro,
scene
it's
is
the
meant
same
to
thing
be
as mousse or gel in your hair. Stop it. If I put
sure.
pomade in my mustache, it does different stuff than what it normally does. You're just making ridiculous stuff.
Watch this scene that's meant to be in 0G. So there's cans floating around him in 0G, but watch him turn around, flip that aside, and now watch him stand up. It's an effort to stand up. He is standing up. You would float out of that chair. It would take the slightest little nudge. In fact, what the most
How
difficult
do you know his
thing
legs didn't
would
bang into something on the
because
way out?
well,
Maybe he hit
just
the
think
arm
about
that
it.
was swinging across him.
No,
Maybe
no,
his
but
leg.
think about it. Think
What
about it.
about
How
the
hard it would
Chinese
be.
video? What about
Think
the
about
Chinese video, Eggshells, when
Oh,
they have the
why are you
glass of water?
distracting? I'm making a point. Why are you interrupting in the middle to go talk about another video that I'm not showing you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
Well, how many times
think
did you do
about
that to
how
me?
hard it would. Think about how hard. No, it's one thing to be like, hey, I've brought this evidence that I would like to show you, and then be like, I want to talk to you about something that's not happening. But think about how hard it would be to stay in a chair in 0G, to stay chair shaped. It's really easy on Earth because of the vectors. This guy's in a chair and stands up out of it rather than floating up out of it. His gun is hanging down in a holster, hanging downwards in a holster. And now he's stepping, walking across because he's got mag boots. That's how they meant to do that. His feet stick to the ground. But now his hands dangle. He swings his arm. He's it's just so incredibly obviously not in 0G, but that's exactly how they're selling this whole scene, right? You can
Yeah,
see
I
his
think this
head.
one's not the best. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. This is
So
not the
this is
best
them
space
trying to
fake.
spend a lot of money on 0G, and they look at the CGI they're about to do.
Yeah, that's
Man,
what I
you're
mean.
gonna-
It's like sometimes it's so fucking obvious that they're not in space. Like we'll see the wires and shit, right? We'll actually see that. We'll be like, oh, you can see the crease in their pants that came out of nowhere. Okay, what creates creases, right? In space, what causes your pants to
Bunching.
crease? What causes the shirt to crease, right? All
Yeah.
that bullshit.
Bunching.
We could be like, all right, there's a bunch of anomalies in this one. And that's
Yeah,
all
the
you're
turning
doing.
is-
You're finding the anomalies, which is good. This is
Yeah.
what you should do with all footage.
So you see here, he clicks his boots back together, turn back on gravity, and then the vector goes normal again. But it's just like, look at even here the way he pretends gravity starts again. This is this idiot's best understanding of the physics. Click them, feet go down, and then I go grab it and do an extra little grab or something. Like, what is that? You know, this is
Yeah,
just
it's pretty bad.
obviously bad.
Yeah.
Did they not have enough
I
money?
agree.
Do you reckon they had $60 million? What is it, a day?
Oh, I think they just didn't know any better. And they thought this is good enough for the shitty ass series we're making. That's what I'd say. But if they were really, really trying to go like, we have to convince people we are in space, and that is the utmost importance in our overall objective of this film is not the acting, not anything else. It is vacant space. Yeah, they would have just put more effort into it. And you would have been more confused. It would have been harder for you to, to figure out where the anomalies are.
Do you reckon they were in 0G when they went on the vomit on Bezos's?
I've never actually
Yeah.
watched that.
Why are you
never
just
actually watched
pointing
this
to
the first
another
time.
video? Why are you doing that? I thought you want to stay on topic. What's going on?
I know,
You
I would say
it's
go to
real,
into
but it
Stellar.
Another
looks so
video,
fake.
but it's
Hold
not
on-
in
hold
the
on.
right as I've started making a point to talk about a different video is my point, not just bringing up a different video. Surely you
Well,
can see.
it made sense to your point, what I was bringing up, because there are films where the guys look like they're struggling to stand up. There's films in the Chinese videos that there's a glass of water just sitting on the counter while the guys are floating around. So
That was
there is
Velcroed.
stuff out there, dude.
Sure,
The glass
the
of water
water
was
bath gun is bigger.
Velcroed. It doesn't matter. There's no lid on the glass of water, bro.
Sure, yeah.
And
that's
where
the
do you think
point.
that water would go?
They're making
But
a
it's funny that
demonstration.
you bring. It's funny you bring this video up because now that I'm watching it and I see what the hair's doing, I'm like, oh shit! There's obviously product in her hair to make it do that, right?
Oh, I
To
can't
stop
wait
it
to
from
see
going in
product in
all
there.
directions. There's obviously product, and she's obviously done
Obvious.
up wearing makeup, right? So I'm gonna be like, all right,
Well,
yeah, they
why?
were all put together.
Why is the dude floating around that clearly weighs, 180 pounds, and the water that clearly does not is just sitting still?
What?
It's not sitting
Say
You
still.
want to
that one
explain that
again?
one,
Did you see
writing?
when they poked the water?
just
Did you see
pulled
how
something
slow
out of
those
the
ripples
cup.
moved?
They
Yeah.
just pulled
Did you see
something
how
out of the cup,
slow
and
the
the dude
ripples moved
floated
when they
down.
pulled the thing out of the cup?
What are we talking about?
Oh, the dude's
Why is it-
floating.
It looks like it's moving like oil. See how slow? Watch when she
Yeah.
pushes this down, and then she pulls the straw back out. Look how slow that water's moving.
Looks very cool. If they've faked it, they've done a lot of work to fake that, haven't they? All of the refraction of the scene in the
Yeah.
background.
I mean, that's
Pixel
their
by pixel, better
if
get it
that's
right.
their objective, are you surprised?
Right, but
It's like
why are
look
they
at
floating?
Interstellar.
Impressed.
Put
I'm
put on that
impressed.
movie Interstellar, Eggs, with the pot with the wave scene,
Sure thing.
and then you tell me, okay, where is the wave bullshit?
The whole wave is bullshit. What do you mean? That
Yeah, that's
wave.
what I'm
I love
saying.
that movie, but that whole wave was very clearly CGI.
Oh yeah, the physics of the wave was really dumb. I've seen it. It's
You think the
it's got no
physics is
water.
bad?
Oh yeah, there's no water to draw from. I've seen
Yes.
this one. So she's standing there in the thing that comes in front of a wave is when we know this from tsunamis, we've known this for 15 years now, everybody should remember it, is when the waves suck back. You can't have a big wave without a big trough in front of it. It's just not physically possible. She's standing there in knee-high water and a tornado is bearing down behind her. It needs to be sucking water back upwards into it. Where's it sucking it from? They're all in knee-high
It
water.
is.
It should be just
That's what
go
it's
dry
doing.
and then she's fine.
That's how they
watch.
notice it. They
I'll show
notice
you.
it because there's like there's a bit of a current, and you can see them fighting the current when they're trying to run back to the
Sure.
ship.
There's
It's
not
actually like
enough
a
volume.
struggle
No,
for
but
them to get back.
It's that
See?
that water wasn't knee
no.
high before. That's the whole thing. That's what happens. Like
Yes,
when we have a hurricane here, it makes the shoreline
You can't have an
a
it
amplitude.
lot
was the same
shallow.
height since the moment they
can't-
landed.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
walking around it at
because
the
that
same
whole
height
thing
for a
was
while.
happening. Because that was because before a hurricane, a day before the hurricane gets here, we start to see the water recede. A day before.
Right. Yeah, and a wave doesn't. It just can't be that tall, right? It's you can't
Yeah, it can.
have.
No, it would have crested. It would have
It's,
crested
it's got
though.
to
I agree
Like
crest
with
if the
that.
down.
water,
I agree
You
with
can't
the
have
that.
an
reasons that
amplitude
waves
900 times
That,
higher than the
that,
waves. It's just
that
not
wave would have broke already because of the shallowness, for sure. I
exactly.
agree with that.
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
because
it would
the water
depend on the
on top is
gravity.
moving at a certain speed, and if the water above it is moving faster, the water below it is being slowed down by the water in the way, right? That's why you get that sucking up
Dude,
thing.
how a wave
Like, oh, that
works is
water is.
it crests when it reaches the height that it is, the depth is underneath it, pretty much. So yeah,
It
that wave would
depends
have
on where
crested
the
a
wave
long
is coming
time.
from, really. But
Well, you can get
That's how
a
waves
crest
work,
inside of a
bro.
crest, though. You can get like a
Yeah.
double wave,
Yeah. There's even
like a
one they
lower
filmed out
crest.
off the west coast where it goes into a circle. All these waves come around into a circle, looks for a second like a tiny little mouth closing, and then goes and shoots this giant spire up into the sky. But that's how I think I've answered it. You just couldn't have a non-crested wave.
Look at it. It's
Because
Okay,
pulling.
yeah, you don't
It
believe you
pulls them
can?
right up
Then
it.
pull up the wedge in Newport Beach, California, and you'll see people into their ankles with a wave that's 3 times their height in that, 3 times overhead.
Sure,
Yeah,
and
that's
this is
what
like
waves do.
900 times the thing, right?
There,
That's
there.
what
Did you
Even
see
that
the
footage
picture,
right
dude?
there.
sure.
That picture right there showed it.
Dude, I love this wave. How
Sure.
amazing is this wave? Wedge in Newport Beach, California, and you'll see people into their ankles with a wave that's 3 times their height in that, 3 times overhead.
Sure,
Yeah,
and
that's
this is
what
like
waves do.
900 times the thing, right?
There,
That's
there.
what
Did you
Even
see
that
the
footage
picture,
right
dude?
there.
sure.
That picture right there showed it.
Dude, I love this wave. How
Sure.
amazing is this wave? It's so
And
sick.
this
Sandy.
I'm going to guess
That one would hurt falling.
is shallow right out until where it breaks, and where it suddenly
No,
breaks is
no,
where
it
we can
doesn't
almost.
because it's a wedge. Because the inlet pushes that other wave sideways on it, so that wave stays large for a long time.
Find videos of double waves.
Dude, get a dude skimboarding it. Say skimboarding the Newport wedge because you'll see he goes from the land out, so you can see what I'm talking about.
I try to
Amazing,
I try to
bro.
tap the stream.
What to do? What?
I'm trying to
Watch
look
this
at the
dude.
video by
Watch
the
this
side.
Try to
dude.
tap dissect.
They're running from that. Did you see where they were all posted up? They're running from there and then getting on this little side wave, and it takes them out to this monstrous wave, dude.
That's sick. That is very cool.
I've done that, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah, it does look fun as hell. How painful is it when you wipe?
You must just be getting sand out of nooks and crannies for days.
Oh, it's not too painful. It's all right.
Depends on if you get in the undertow. If you get in the undertow and you're near reef, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I've got smashed into a reef one time. It wasn't my favourite. Oof. He's going to go back over the top. Oof.
But I mean,
That was
if
a
you're
good
near the
one.
soft sand, you'd be all right. Or if you're in deeper water,
Soft sand?
Just going back for a
You don't
sec
know.
about the NASA's fake videos and all that.
Mhm.
What is your actual response to, like, if somebody's like, hey, prove to me this NASA stuff is fake. Hey, I don't see any issues with it, XYZ. But then if we pulled up a bunch of different movies, all kinds of
Mhm.
movies, and some child, let's say somebody like a child who didn't know they were fake, they're like, hey, prove to me it's fake. I think it's real. Let's say the child thought it was real. It would be like
Mhm.
near impossible to prove to a child that really any movie. I mean, some movies where they make like maybe a blatant mistake or something, but you could pull up Superman,
Well,
Batman. It's all going to look pretty real and difficult. And then you can talk about movies like Gravity or
Mhm.
movies where they simulate zero G. So it's really not like valid to be like, hey, if you can't show me all the ways that this is just a slam dunk fake, then that means it's not fake. That's not
I
valid
don't think
because
that's
you'd
true at
have a hard
all.
time proving that movies are fake, and we know movies are fake.
No, I don't
I
think
mean,
because we would be able to prove movies are fake for exactly the same reason movies are fake, right? If somebody sees a guy die as a spaceman and then come back as a younger version of himself as a commando, right, because the
yes.
same character is there, you've disproven it, right? You've shown that he didn't die as a spaceman. So you can
Behind
do
the
that.
scenes footage,
Yeah, I'm not saying
like
that there's
everything
nothing in
surrounding
movies.
Hollywood, that's like,
Yeah,
sorry.
the statement is not that there's nothing in movies that you couldn't like know is a movie. Like
What
if
was
like
your
people
statement,
can
wasn't it?
fly, for example, we know people can't fly. But in terms of like the zero G effect, because in the NASA stuff, to make more of a relation, you have to say like the movie Gravity or something like, or Apollo 13 or something like that. Like we're not really comparing, Ghostbusters. Like, oh, people don't have, machines that capture ghosts and stuff. So I'm not talking about like taking every single movie. I'm talking about
I
something
have a
like
better example for you.
simulates a zero G environment. And if we go pull up Gravity, and if somebody thought the movie Gravity was real, there's virtually no way that you, Manufactotum or Eggshells, would be able to prove it to them, and then they might just go on believing NASA or believing the movie.
But I could,
Yeah, I have a
but I
better
could.
example
Money
for
was
you. So I don't know how old you guys are, but you're probably uh, you'll remember in any case that when Blair Witch came out, there was a campaign to sell that as like a real thing, right?
yeah.
It was pretty quickly found out that it was just a movie. There were actors and everything, but
I was fooled.
there were people that thought that was real, right? Like, how would you prove? And there's nothing like science fictiony about that. There's some supernatural stuff maybe, but even that could just be like weird psychology stuff, or just
Mhm.
like a crazy person, right? How would you show that that's not a real? How would you show that that was fake?
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I think you could still do it, right? You could still track down locations used in the film. You could track down the individuals who are in the film. You could recreate sections of it. There would be ways to say, I've come to a high degree of probability this is false.
right? But y'all's video isn't as good as like X-Men the movie, bro. That's way smoother than all the stuff I've seen from NASA.
Way better. Yeah, it's way easier to find the NASA fakery than it is movies, which is kind of weird that they do it that way. But I think one reason is that the reason they don't fake it really well is because, okay, so to do a fakery like that, generally everyone has to be in on something, like they might not all have to be in on everything about the whole, all the secrets or whatever, but they would definitely have to know, like, okay, we are totally faking space. We're lying to all of humanity. All of this is BS. We're lying to children who call up and think we're on the ISS. This is a sack of lies, like 100%. And people that are willing to do that are somewhat psychopathic. to lie to this level. A little white lie. I mean, there's also criminals that do lies too, but at this level, it would be pure psychopathy, sociopathy and psychopathy, and just robbing people blind for billions of dollars. It's such a huge deception. And so when you're dealing with people like that, you're not going to get the best of the best. You know, you're going to get like C level Hollywood, maybe D level. Like you're going to get a much lower quality because you're only picking from psychopaths at that point, or severe liars, or people that have severe mental problems that they would actually lie like this. And that's not everybody.
And these are the people.
Well, let me finish my thing. But then when you take everybody, the whole world, you get the best of the best. You get the Stanley Kubricks, you get the best ones, you know?
So these psychopaths and liars and all that, these are the people that are being entrusted with these secrets, do you think?
Oh, good question. Would you trust a psychopath?
They're groomed
all you
to
need-
they're groomed in psychopathy. This is the way criminal networks work. Yes, they're groomed in various ways, and who knows? Maybe they're even put through some kind of MK Ultra sort of drugged out, crazy, like mind fracturing, demonic possessing, treatment or whatever. That could be the case too. I mean, we don't know, but 100%.
This thing
But
just gets more and more complicated.
well, it's
Well, I mean,
exactly how
it's-
criminals work. It's really not that complicated. It's actually pretty simple. It's just trauma-based mind
No,
control.
the process of doing this is getting more and more. Now they have to be groomed and MK Ultra to think that it's actually happening to them.
I just said that as one idea. No, I said that is one possibility, is that they may put them through. I said they're being groomed to be psychopaths, and they likely have a whole hierarchy and a whole system of grooming. And I was just saying, in addition, in terms of speculation, they might put them through some kind of a soul fracturing type of thing. Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, that's talked about in Hollywood. There's even like reports that this does happen. I mean, can we prove any of that? I mean, MK Ultra was a real thing. So I mean,
Why
that's
is
for
this
sure. They were
concept so
fracturing.
difficult?
Yeah, they were fracturing people's minds to turn them into super soldiers and shit. I mean, that's even been admitted to. So.
Oh, they were
Yeah.
trying, yeah, but
Yeah,
we know why
move
those
away
things
from this,
weren't
right?
very successful.
Move away for like 1 second, right? And say, okay, all right, get away from the conspiracy element of it, right? And just focus on how do we get people to do things that they wouldn't normally do, right? And then we're going to look at the military. How do we get kids to kill other kids that they've never met and know nothing about, right? And we come to the conclusion, yeah, that's a real thing that happens, right? And you're like, well, how do they do that? Well, yeah, they put them through a fucking program. But you're saying this other thing that's way less violent, and they could even like agree with the overall objective, like it's for the better of humanity, like it's for the better of your country to go kill these other people, right? It's the same type of thing. You just put them through a program.
I think that doesn't sound very analogous to me. Like one of them
Well,
you could easily sell with how people think of the military today. Like, yes, you're picking up a gun and you're going and killing someone who you've never met, but like that's a pretty easy sell in modern society, right? It's not just you're going to
Killing
murder
people,
people. There's a reason. Yes, killing people in war,
that's an
right?
easy
That's what
sell.
war is.
Like that's an easy sell to kill, like convince somebody to kill somebody else. That's an easy sell for you. Okay,
Yeah,
but
if they're
lying
a
isn't.
threat to your,
Lying's not.
if they are a threat to you and your family, your way of life, and your country, yeah.
Okay, now what if this other thing, they've convinced you, you just need to lie, right? Because of these extra, whatever, these threats, these external
Right.
threats that they convince you are real, right? They say, all right,
Yeah,
well, we
but
have
there's
this
no lying in
external
the
threat.
first one.
Yeah, there's plenty of lying in the military, dude. I don't know what you're on
No,
about.
yes. What I'm saying is, you're not being like convinced to fake something, right? You're not being told to put on a play of some kind, like that. There's no conspiracy there, right? The higher ups might lie to the subordinates about like the real purpose they're going to war, but ultimately, you're not saying that you were in like a different, unless there's like top
Right,
secret stuff there, whatever. But
it's way
to
more
lie to the
harmful,
entire,
right? That's my
it's more
point. Is
harmful,
one,
sure, but the
I'm saying the
nature of the lie is
military,
very, very different.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
oh,
just a higher
exactly, right?
level of like psychopathy. It's just a certain level of it. I mean, dude, like if you believe in like the World War II story, they got like thousands and thousands, however many, young men to murder all kinds of people. If you believe in the gas chambers and the whole thing. So like, how did they convince people to do that? Like that's even worse than lying. I mean, those,
Harvard.
Those people lying on the Artemis and all that. I mean, they are lying, which is kind of a higher level like psychological thing to like convince them to do or for them to do. But it's actually not. I mean, that Christina woman, as she's smiling with her little grin, her little deception grin as she's going along her thing. But she's not murdering people. She's not outrightly, she's lying, but she might have it written off in her mind that it's worth doing, and for whatever reason that national security, whatever reason she believes it's. Who knows? That's speculative as to why, but I'm just saying that's it's a much easier thing to get someone to do than it is to go get everyone to kill a bunch of people or put people in gas chambers. That's way worse.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
get
that
four
would be the
people
ultimate
to
trickery.
get four
The
people
ultimate.
to do that and pretend like they're in space, maybe. But you're talking about an entire industry that spans decades and decades. Like, it's not just a space trip that's the lie. Like, you're talking about, when people talk about the conspiracy, it's
Because it's an industry,
monumentally
dude. You
larger
just said
than,
it.
right? What does that mean?
There's money to be made.
Oh, so all of this money, and people said that 60 million a day earlier. Like, who gets that money? Do you think?
It's more than that, but that's just the taxpayer side of things. You also got to think about
Uh-huh.
like the contracts that are proposed, like that are like exclusive to NASA, for example, like
Mhm.
proprietary technology, intellectual property, a whole bunch of things. But let me
So
ask you
all of the
something real quick.
satellites that the military pays NASA to put into space, the
Do you see
military
what
would have to be in on that, right?
do you see what Eggshells is streaming right now?
No, I walked away from my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so just a little bit
The
before
point.
that, you had him
That's really, really
doing
good wire work, by
a
the way.
high definition zoom of like a bubble, right? Like
Uh-huh.
look at that quality, right? That's awesome quality.
It's all right.
Why
Is
couldn't we
it?
get that on the Artemis too?
It's kind of okay. What do you mean? What did they do that needed a close up, a high speed shot?
It's almost like they're selective about, quality. Like they're always going to show you shit quality on the outside of a spacecraft for some reason, even though that would be the most fascinating to
What?
anybody here on
Who said?
Earth because we
I feel
can't
like you
actually
made
go
three
out there.
consecutive
So
statements that made no sense. The first one was, why don't we have high def, high zoom,
no, that wasn't my. I
high
said, look
high
at that
frame
quality.
rate cameras? So why don't we have
well, the
that on the
higher
Artemis? But if they're not doing that on the Artemis, they
Yeah,
seem very
why don't we have
disconnected,
that
those
kind of
things.
quality in the Artemis too?
We do. Let's just say
the
that.
higher the
There we go.
definition, the easier the flaws are to find. So the higher the definition, the more smoothing you're going to have to do over any of your errors. That's more work, more of everything,
But like half
and
of
you're
all the
definitely going to
quote
need more
unquote flaws
horsepower.
that turn up, yeah, but half of all the flaws that people point to, like in your camp, always seem to go back to like compression artifacts, like people phasing in and out of rooms and stuff flowing through other things. Like,
Which is what
Well, did
comes
you see
across
that?
live television, right? So then it's coming across live TV. People have recorded it, so you're acting like it didn't happen when it really did. So it's proof that CGI is actually going on. And you're going, there's no such thing as CGI. But right now, Harry Potter looks more like Earth's history than anything from NASA.
Harry
We had
Potter
that
looks like
4K
this is
ISS
very
tour from like
future.
10 years ago, right? That was like 25
Yo,
or
what's he
30
doing with
minutes
his
long.
hand there?
What are these
And
guys doing? They're doing science up there. This is real sciencey.
Well, what's
They're
he
like
doing with his
playing it.
hand?
They're
You see the
just
guy's hand? He's been
like they're in
holding
a
it like a
jungle
claw
gym.
the whole time, like kind of guiding in the harness essentially.
there's
What's that?
obviously no
It
harness
Go
didn't look
back.
here.
right.
Go back. All right. Watch the guy who's spinning him. Watch his other hand. Scroll back. Go back a bit. Yeah. What's he doing right there?
I always do something like that. If I'm really concentrated on what I'm doing with one hand and I then pay attention to the other hand, I
Right
find I've
there.
been doing some.
What's he doing?
Yeah, it's just not using that hand. What do you mean? What is your hand doing when you're doing something with the other one?
You know what I'd like to see? Like
But
when
what
they
was wrong
spin
with it?
around. I'd like to see them spin, right, where they're fully extended, and then like, yeah, like that, where they tighten up and they go faster. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And then
they've
they
done. I
slow
feel
down
like
the
I've seen
spin,
somebody doing that one,
like a figure
but they did it.
skater. They put their
Yeah, I think.
arms in and then their arms out. That type of shit.
Right,
That'd
but
be
here's
pretty
what's
interesting.
funny.
By the way,
He just hand waved the fact that I proved that there's actual issues in NASA footage, and he hand waved dismissed it. Like, well,
He just
yeah, there's
claimed
going
it.
to be stuff that's not really there, just popping up randomly while we're in outer space. Like,
It's
what?
just a wild claim out of nowhere. It just didn't have
No, it
any
wasn't,
evidence
because we
base.
have the footage. That the strings are there, the lines
Really?
are there.
Show us the
Yeah,
link.
We have the footage. The
They
phasing in and out, you said it yourself. You've seen the footage. So then
Dude, there's no
you know
strings. I
what
don't
they're
know what
doing is
the
fake. You're going, oh no, hand
You're
wave
just
dismiss. It
claiming
can't
there's
be
stuff
fake.
that there isn't. There's one bit
have
where
you
a
guys
guy
heard of the
floats past
Argo
in the
system?
background and there's no string, but you guys think there
Okay,
could be one.
I'm
There's
sure
another
you've
one
heard
where
of
a guy's
Argos,
shirt
right?
moves mildly
Eggshells.
funny. Say again?
Eggshells. You've heard of Argos?
Argos. No, there's a film called Argo.
Mm-mm. All right, so just type in NASA Argos.
Hey, real quick, Beast. One quick thing that we may want to look more into. I saw one little clip that apparently that plushie in the Artemis, someone was saying that it doesn't have a shadow. So I thought that
Yeah,
was
I know.
interesting.
Well,
But
it does, but it's rendered
Ooh.
differently at different times. I just keep hearing, it's just compression. But yeah, this is Argos, dog. Active response gravity offload system. This is what they
The
use to
funny,
train.
well, the funny thing is though, the two answers that we got from them is, well, you can fake it by making a space movie over in California, right? Right. So, and then budget. It's like the two things NASA absolutely has access to: budget, tax cattle, and film studios, because they have the largest.
Now,
Well, I do.
hear me out, Eggshells. I know
Yeah,
you're
tell me.
reasonable with all this stuff. Combine this system with this technology, ironically, that was like kind of promoted by this guy a day after splashdown, called Gaussian splats. You heard of
Gaussian
it?
splats. Do you want me
Yeah,
to Google it?
you can get off of this. You get the idea of why I brought it up. So like,
have you ever heard of Gaussian splats? You gotta check that out.
you gotta check
No.
the shit out,
It's crazy.
Eggshells. Here, go
These
get out of
guys
the full
hanging
screen
from
real
this
quick.
harness
Okay.
looks nothing like what we just saw on the ISS.
Yeah, that looked
Nothing.
noticeably different. That's why I wanted to start getting into all of the differences, but we're onto a different topic
Another,
again.
another thing.
But there's a version of that Argos though, obviously without the helmet and stuff like that. But I'm just saying. Oh no, type that in on YouTube. There's this guy who has a video on it.
Before you guys go into the Gaussian splats, just real quick, I was going to say from before, Manufactotum, because you were talking about what it would take to get people to lie. Dude, this is to Manufactotum. If you had $500 billion, okay, $500 billion in your bank account right now, and you were going to make, and your goal was to make a fake space program and sell it to the population. You don't think you could do that? I think the obvious answer would be yes.
Dude, people
With
have found all
$500
kinds
billion,
of.
you could get people, and you could do it, and you could say, "Hey, we're the first independent," or you could say, "I'm an independent, billionaire that's financing a new space thing, almost like another SpaceX," and you could completely fake it, and you could probably fool everybody.
Dude, Gio, look at the related videos to this Gaussian splat, Artemis 2. That's funny. I know that doesn't
Sure,
make much
might
sense.
rely on some of the same effects.
Yeah,
Oh, it's called Artemis 2. Wait, what's the Artemis 2 part?
look, in terms of the related searches on the
But
right.
those are just view
Oh.
next, right? So that'll be everything from my subs
from your
to what I just
search.
searched.
On the
Is
right,
this an incognito? This looks
you see
incognito.
from your search, it'll change the ephemeral data.
Yeah, it keeps up a user file ID, right?
You hear me, Eggshells?
Say again?
Oh, yeah, hit from your search. You know, it says all right there on the right. No.
All right there.
Yeah. Let's see if Artemis 2 pops
You want
up.
to see the?
I'm just
I
curious.
see.
There it is.
Can you
This
just
is the
show me?
biggest thing since CGI. That's the video I actually wanted you to see right there.
Okay.
He explains it pretty well.
That's a cool intro.
Oh, I love this show. These guys sit together and
that's
tell.
Ren.
Yeah, you can see. You
I've
can
met
see
Ren
actually.
multiple times.
Really? Yeah, you can see those ones are
Yeah.
slightly green screeny. It is sick though. Yeah, you can see those shots are not quite right yet. That is sick though. That is sick.
Right. So combine the Argo system with another system of Gaussian splats, right? Especially if he's just doing it on, at his studio, right? He's a content creator. He's probably using, $5,000 to $6,000 computers, right?
Sure. Doesn't fix the hair though, right? The hair, the necklace, all of those things would have to be in gravity, right? You've got to set up a studio in a gravity. That's why I keep wanting to say if we can nail down whether those shots are in gravity, we'll be 90% of the way to solving whether the ISS footage is real.
You know what's a
The
tricky
Gaussian
though?
splat,
Which
the Gaussian
extreme
splat won't do anything for my necklace, right? That's just saying if I pick out what's in the foreground and use a bit of AI, I can fake in betweeny shots. I can get two angles and fake an in between shot, right?
Yeah, but they could use some features of this though, or some component of it. I mean, the thing is,
Yeah,
dude,
like,
even
look at
if
this.
even if the people running the Illuminati, as it were, came and told you, Eggshells, like, yeah, we're absolutely faking it, and then just left, but somehow you were able to verify, like, it was the Illuminati, like they were telling you absolutely, you still wouldn't even maybe be able to know exactly how they're faking it. You know what I mean? Even if they told you it's fake. So
Sure,
even like
but then
it's
I
like that
wouldn't
with movies
say
too. Like, how did it's like that with movies too. You can watch them and be like, God, how did they do that?
sure, but then I wouldn't say I've found it with this hair. I would say, yeah, it's impossible to find it. They're tricking us, and it's very difficult to work out how.
No, I think there are, like I said, they don't have the best people in the world doing this. Like, they have kind of C level, D level Hollywood, because to get people to lie like this and be involved in whatever network they're in, they're just not getting the best of the best. That's probably why they had to bring in Stanley Kubrick, because they couldn't really do it. That first one, they were scared that they wouldn't be good enough. So it seems like that's the whole thing with Stanley Kubrick. It seems like they probably got one of the best directors in the world, to come in on that. So yeah, I just don't think they have the best of the best. So that's why it's basically not as good as actual movies. And maybe they even do that on purpose too, for some reason. Like, they want it to look different from the movies so that people are not like, wait a minute, this just looks like the movie Gravity. And instead it looks a little quirky and a little weird, and it makes people be like, oh, that whole thing of, oh, it's real because it looks fake or whatever. That whole little dichotomy. Make it a little fake to kind of like almost put it to the other side to make people be like, oh, that's why it's real, even though that's actually why it's fake. But they do a little reverse psychology trick. I've always thought they do something like that.
Yo, Eggshells, did you see the do you see the guy who recreated the Artemis 2 mission in Kerbal Space Program?
No, I was thinking though, so many people would have been doing it live with them, like matching them down to the second for their insertion burn and stuff. Because you can do RSS, real solar system, and then it's quite possible people would have had fairly true to life mods of all of the modules and fully made kits as they went up. But yeah, God, some of the stuff people build in that is sick.
Yeah, well, I actually seen the behind the scenes on this exact scene because I actually do like Christopher Nolan and that stuff. They use the entire set itself rotates.
Yeah, but that bit's not testing yet is 0G. This is testing changing vector of down, right? Revolving.
Yeah, it's
G.
literally like the entire, like it's a huge, like it's a hangar building, and they have this entire hallway / hotel rotating like physically. Yeah, look up behind the scenes. You actually see it real quick. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but like you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I've seen the thing. It's like a giant, giant wheel kind of thing, like a Roman wheel.
So when they did that 20-minute, 30-minute ISS tour, 4K, and the guy's got the iPad just floating there, and there's reflections off of it as it's moving around. And if you look in the background at like, all the stuff they've got like stored up in the racks, and all the little LAN cables and stuff, and like you can see some of the Velcro loops are just spinning around, and you can just see that they're moving in 0G, right? And this was like way before we had all the AI stuff going on to make like fully AI generated video. So I guess you'd have to say that NASA had AI generated video, 15 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever that was.
Where?
Yeah.
Where? What
What
video?
footage? Yeah, what footage? Because when dude, the Skylab stuff is terrible.
The
early
4K
stuff?
ISS footage. No, wait, where they're doing the gymnastics? How
Oh,
are they
it's
doing
bad.
that? How did they do that in the 70s? When they're jumping around inside?
In the
How did they do that in
70s?
the 70s?
You gotta
Yeah, in
post
Skylab
what video you're talking about.
74 or whatever.
Or what should we type in?
Put Skylab acrobatics or something like that.
Acrobatics. Oh yeah, this looks so bad. I remember this. I thought this was not real. I thought they said that this footage wasn't real. Remember, Geo? We were talking about
Which
this.
stuff?
We don't see anything on your screen.
The Skylab?
Didn't we come to the conclusion that this documentary is using footage that's not actually them in space, and they admitted that? Remember the guy who like it kind of looks like he's freeze framing across the screen with like the rope?
Which one?
Remember we were talking about that, Geo?
Oh, the guy going like the astronaut on wires.
I don't know. I'm trying to rack my brain. Wait, you mean the one that's like a
Remember
spacewalk thing?
I asked I don't know if it was Jake or Wesley, can't remember, where I was like, just answer me honestly, or I think it was Pinky, like, is this footage real?
Right. That one I think was like a TV show. Because when we've looked into it.
Yeah.
But
The
Skylab
thing
Skylab
looks
is
like it's
different though.
Oh,
Skylab
really?
is like
Just put it,
well,
I
it's
just,
like
I just put it in the
first
live stream. Go ahead and play from the live stream. I mean,
it's
in the live stream
basically like
tab.
the first ISS. Like it was it was like the first space station of NASA's or whatever. So it's similar to the ISS, like the interior. No, that thing you're talking. I think what I'm thinking of, you're talking about is like that spacewalk that was for a TV show, and so it wasn't. It's not like official.
Yeah, they found this was quite dangerous though, where they were like, it's unlikely, but there's a chance you can get stuck in the middle. That's so fun.
I mean, this could have
That's
0G plane
sick.
easily.
You reckon that could be on a plane?
Wait,
0G, yeah.
wait, how is he
How
falling back
are they
down?
doing
Go back,
this?
go back, go back.
Go back, okay.
How is he falling back down when he's running?
Which one?
Running forward. He's not falling down.
He's running forwards. The vector. That's the idea of it. Same as you make a gravity ring. You mean this guy running around?
Right here.
Because he's going
Yeah,
vector forwards, and the ground's coming up towards him. So he's not falling down. The ground's coming up. That's how
He's
gravity.
tracing a bunch of
work,
chords.
right?
Like,
Yeah. It's exactly the idea of a thing like that. They could keep the astronauts exercising. But I think they found it shakes the
Probably
craft too
displaces
much.
the craft.
Have we ever?
Yeah, they had an exercise bike that did the same, and they were like, "Oh, we can't have spinny things anymore." Could apply it torque to the whole station.
You think this guy's on a wire? How did they do this in 74?
Bro, they did 2001: A Space Odyssey in what?
Yeah,
What was the year?
nothing in that movie looks anything like this. Where he's got like 6 degrees of freedom as he's moving around.
yeah, not even close.
Where's the wire harness here?
There's no harness. That is actually so good. That is so impossible to harness. That one
under his
you
tidy
could know
whities.
until he does that. Until he does
Oh,
that, he
what
starts
was
doing
that?
screwy boys.
Is that a compression
go?
effect?
Which
Go
looking
back.
good to me. Looking like a guy doing something he couldn't possibly do on wire.
He means
so it's a very good
the
point.
frame in the top right. There was like an artifact. Is this 16 millimeter?
Probably, I guess. Like it's what is it going to be?
Right
80s?
here, right here. Watch his feet. Right here, watch his feet. Oh,
Oh, over to the top right. Yeah, there's something dodgy going on with the tape constantly at
that?
the top right, actually.
Lots of cuts in this.
Sure.
Cut.
Yeah, it's not.
yeah, they
I mean,
cut it.
that's.
I
nature of
definitely think a
footage
zero
tracking,
G
right?
plane is
frequently.
one of the things they use. I think they use several different things.
What zero G plane has this diameter?
It's a big old plane
The
doing
secret
a
NASA
long
one.
old dive.
One that trillionaires make.
Okay, well,
That's a long shot.
why do they always cut it?
This
What do you
is
mean?
This is
16
like a
millimeter
clip
We've
film.
got
man.
other
video. This
ones.
is a
We've got
clip
other
video.
ones that are astoundingly long. But if we're on a
You
long
have
one,
another
it's
one
why
that's
is a hair.
astoundingly long.
If we're on a hair one, then why is it short? And then if we're on a flipping one, it's why is it short? You know, it's. I feel the goalposts move a little bit. Is what I'm saying. I feel like you only look for what's not there, rather than go. That does look like somebody operating through so many degrees of freedom.
No,
What
I'll
what
admit,
harness would do
that's
that?
great. That's great. That's good. So, like, if I was studying a magician's trick, right? This is be the same kind of thing that you would do, right? You would try to see, like, you would have the exact same type of skeptical scrutiny that we have, because it's a magician. So you're trying to figure out how he is doing this trick, because it's a trick. You have the truth beforehand. Now you got to figure out his secret, right? How did he perform this trick? That's the exact same mentality that we have, guys. We know
He's
it's
acting
fake
like we
based off
didn't.
of physics.
He acts like we didn't have complex machines in the 1800s to do movie magic, right?
Yeah, man. The
Early
fact you're even
1900s.
sitting here talking about, oh, the shit is real. Like, bro, you've gone through all the fakery shit with us. Like, I don't know how you're not seeing it.
I have. Yeah, we've been going through the
Go ahead.
fakery stuff. It's not
How
very
was this fake
strong.
in the 70s? How was it fake?
I was trying to find that one before if the guy got. Sorry, going past in the background.
Well, I mean, somebody wanted to move past the two answers that we gave at the very beginning of
Like,
all
bro, we've
this,
gone through
right?
all this footage and like frame by frame, dude. I don't know. You've never seen anything suspicious that might make you think they're faking it at all through this whole time over all these years?
I did think there was some fishy stuff when I first looked at the moon landing. I thought that was fake. Thought the flag didn't flap right, and the boots were wrong, and the shadows were wrong, and don't anymore.
Yeah, because Bart Sabral lies because they look at the inner boot and they say, look at the footprint. It doesn't match the inner boot. And not to mention that there's an outer boot that has the same footprint. That's just Bart being just dishonest.
Wait, what are you saying? There's footprints of the space shuttle that match
There's
the depth
one.
of the spacewalkers? Because you can
No,
see the boot footprints, right? And it's like extremely, prevalent. But then with the rocket, where it lands, it doesn't like dig into the same depth. And that thing's like tonnage, right? I'd imagine.
No, the one that we were talking about is that people go, oh, when they're outside, they leave these really clear ridged boots, and then when they're on board, it shows that they've got these really soft, flat soles, and it misses the fact that they put on outer boots to go outside.
I thought you were talking about the footprints, because like that stood out to me. It was like, all right, so up to 300 pounds, I'd say these astronauts with all the gear, but the gravity ratio is different, whatever, right? You say, okay, a 300-pound person on Earth makes a footprint to this extreme, extremely visible. They take shots of it, yada, 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 prevalent. Then the spacecraft itself doesn't dig into the same depth to weight ratio. Get what I mean? Like you don't see that, like the pads buried into the surface. That's what I'd expect, right? I'm like, oh, if your little foot could make that, this big ass landing pad should just sink right in. It's like mud. You know, you step in mud, you leave a footprint. You put ton in mud, it sinks. But that's not what I saw. So for me, that's weird. That's a bit odd, not consistent.
You're talking about these big mushroom-shaped things when they dig in. That what we're on? That's what we're on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you see how like they're like right on the surface? They're hardly like sunken in at all.
Kind of look
There's no
half sunk
depth to
into
them.
me.
But then look,
what's
yeah,
the
but look
pounds
at the
per square?
footprints. Hold on,
What's the
look at the
pounds per square inch?
footprints. Look,
But
dude.
but see how
Look
that
at
but
the
see how that
map.
looks like a
Can I
circular
can I
divot.
get my point across? Because you guys are just going to argue against something, right? What I'm trying to clarify is look at all the footprints in the backdrop, in the foredrop. You can see, okay, or the foreground. You can see the depth of them. It's like, all right, well, look at the weight that caused that depth. All right, now compare that to the weight of the shuttle. You'd expect it to do, to go down, like the weight to depth ratio would be similar. That was a good footprint, actually. Illustrates
Oh,
my
I see what
point.
you're
You see how
saying, Pure Rigor. You're
deep it
saying
is? It's like picture yourself in a marsh, right? Or like on the edge of a lake, right? And it's like wet, like it's muddy. Every time you step, you see the imprint of your soul. All right, well that's what you get here on the moon, right? Whatever it is, I don't know if it's like dusty. Okay, well my foot goes in X amount because of my weight. The weight is causing it. All right, now I have something that weighs tonnage. Well, that shit's gonna sink. In my mind, it's gonna sink. But in the photos, it's like sitting on the surface. I find that
It doesn't look like
extremely
it's sitting on the surface, though. It really looks like it's. If I were to trace what I imagine the
hardly.
bottom of that looks like, I imagine it's going under like that. It looks like it's
no
buried
way.
itself.
All right,
Maybe
that's
not
a
that
little
It's
far. That's
flat.
gone too
You're
far.
flat on the bottom,
Yeah,
no?
no way.
It looks like it's buried its way under.
Maybe you might get like an inch or so, but it's like the foot already put like a half inch.
But
It's like,
but
all right,
Rigor,
now the weight to depth ratio is like it's thrown all off.
they
What's
could
the
just
weight?
literally
What's the
say
depth?
they landed softly. That's all. They could just say that.
But even that doesn't matter. Even that doesn't. It's just weight. The weight would cause it to settle. Eventually it would sink down. There's no way around it. If you're leaving footprints like that, the pad has to at least go that deep, bare minimum. And then you need some type of ratio factor going on. Or you have to say we have layers where it's like you
Ratio
have what,
factor.
2 inches of dust layer, and then after that it's like fucking granite.
So it just, I would need to be so confident about so many things, from one, like the weight of the astronaut, the like cadence of his step there, the weight of the craft, the breadth of that foot, the known other shape of it, because it might be different if it's got like a hollow in the middle and it's not just circles. I would have to be confident about a lot to know that it's not dug in the right amount.
Well, for me it'd be easy. I'd say no amount of pressure from a human could create the amount of pressure as that space shuttle or rocket or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It'd be physically impossible. So therefore, I know that pad must dig in deeper.
Oh, you ever notice that when you see like an F-150 drive on the beach and it's parked, the tires don't look to be any deeper into the sand compared to the footprints I'm leaving behind when I'm walking on the sand.
How many footprints wide is that pad?
Yeah, it'd be surface area, weight, but essentially it's just pressure
And the lunar regolith,
and density of
it,
surface.
it it's only soft on the very surface, right? And unlike sand on the beach, which is very round, the
Right.
lunar
Well, now
regolith
you
is
just made
very
layers.
jagged, so it interlocks very quickly with pressure, right? So the way that
Right.
it's going,
So
the depth of penetration that you're going to have as it interlocks as you put weight on it, right? It's going to be different than beach sand.
okay. Okay, so you made a claim 2 layers on the moon. Okay, well show that. Show that there are layers that are 2 inches thick. That top surface layer is 2 inches thick. Because that's about as much as I see going down into the earth or the moon. All right, so show me that layer makeup that they're claiming, not that you just made up on a whim.
You don't feel that's a little bit moving like
No,
your
it's his
claim
claim
is
to
that it's not
explain it.
dug in right. You would need to know that stuff. Otherwise you're saying I've decided it's not dug in enough,
No, hold on,
not
hold
yet
on,
knowing
hold on.
about the
I didn't
consistency.
say it's not dug in enough. What I'm trying to say is I find this extremely odd because I can't think of a way other than having layers. And I put like a couple things like that would allow for this to happen. You need like another layer underneath it to be harder to prevent it from sinking down. But if we're just doing a weight, right, a weight ratio, I would expect, right, I could be wrong about this, but I would expect it to go much deeper, something that weighs tonnage to dig deeper than a footprint that from like maybe 300 pounds. I'd say, yeah, sure, more surface area, but not enough. Not enough to compare, you know, to like get away from the fact that you still have weight on a soft surface. But if you're going to say, well, there's a harder layer underneath that preventing it, it's like, all right, well, I don't know. If you're going to say that's the case, then, all right, well, is that what NASA's saying the surface is?
So if we present you core samples that NASA took of the moon, you would accept those?
Core samples?
Yes, core samples.
I would like to see, just show their layer makeup. That's it. Just be like, oh, on this layer, it's made out of this material, and the layer under it is fucking 2 inches lower, and that's made up out of like some extremely dense material that would prevent the pad or the weight of the object from sinking. Because
Well,
it's
if
like,
they
I'm
took,
going to go back to my mud analogy. You go, you know what I mean? You put your footprint on mud, and then you put something that weighs tonnage on your footprint, it's going to sink way more than your footprint.
so if they took core samples, obviously it's going to be near where they landed, right?
Yeah. Right outside, you'd expect. And that's the other thing I was thinking. If it depends what it is, right? Mud, it's going to squelch in real deep. But you know how sand kind of almost sticks together? Like the sharp edges of it don't want to let your feet in, holds up and then lets slip. So I think it's going to make a lot of difference if the surface is very grabby or very slippy.
I don't know. If you go on, I can't. I'm trying. That's what I mean. I'm trying to think of a surface that would allow that. My foot, right? Say I'm 300 pounds. My foot sinks in an inch. Right? My footprint leaves like a 1 inch indentation. Now, can I take something, I don't know, 5 times the circumference of my foot, put it over my footprint, and sink into the same amount? Like, what would be required for that? What type of material? And he's saying sand. I'm going to say no. You'd sink in further.
Yeah, I just don't know further than what. I wouldn't even be able to predict. I wouldn't even know. Like, if you said that foot has dug in an
Well, it'd be a
inch, I would be
density.
like, right, but let me finish. I think if you said that foot had dug in an inch, I'd be like, yeah, okay. And if you said it actually dug in 3 inches, I'd be like, yeah, sure. So I don't know how I'd even begin to calculate anything. I've got no idea the weight of the lander. Certainly not on the lunar surface. Nothing. No idea
Oh,
what
it's
the lunar surface is
tonnage.
made out of. No ideas of what the bit
It,
underneath it's like in terms of slipperiness.
yeah, it'd have to be tonnage. It'd have to be in the tonnage range. There's no way it could support all that.
But you get the point I'm making is I would need to know a lot of information before I could be confident about something like that. You know, if I tried to get somebody to stake their reputation on it.
Oh, well, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that looks off to me. Right?
Yeah,
When you
As you
beat
guys ad hoc excuses for why it doesn't look odd to you, I'm just pointing out why it looks odd to me.
you
You
know,
guys
like
can,
there are
hey, you can
boats.
look at this and be like, yeah, that's perfectly normal. I just don't think so.
You know there are boats that like will go in like during high tide, like anchor out, and then low tide, and like the boat like doesn't like sink dramatically into the sand, right?
Are you retarded
Mm,
or are you following the conversation? Because I'm starting to question whether this is intentional
it's
or
a
you're
good
just
point.
that dumb.
Because you need a bit of lateral movement to help the sand slip. Yeah, but
The
regularly when
boat's
you
in
see,
water and it doesn't sink into the sand. Wow,
yeah, when it
profound.
goes out
Dramatically.
with mud, yeah, when mud does it, the keel will dig way in. But in sand, it'll often just sit perfectly on top, barely even a sort of
No, that
divot.
couldn't happen. That couldn't. As the tide goes out, it would pull the sand with it. It'd wash away the sand, right? And it would
I
just
imagine
sink.
it's got to be
Wait,
in a really slow moving tide. Sure, I would agree with that.
Yeah. But all that is like, all right, completely different scenario, completely different environment. What
How
the
much
fuck are we
sand do you
doing
think
here?
gets washed out when the tide goes out?
I don't know. I'm not talking about water and erosion. I'm talking about pressure
I got news for you.
and
It doesn't.
density of a
Because
material.
a
Yeah,
lot
this
of it doesn't. Like I've surveyed water before, where like doesn't matter high
Okay,
tide or
so
low
is that
tide.
what we're doing? We're
There's
claiming
not a
the
dramatic
surface.
amount.
We're claiming the surface of the moon is similar to the fucking water in the ocean or the sand in the ocean.
Yeah, not that far from sand, is it? Should it be? Should we consider it that far from sand?
Well, I don't know. What's NASA saying? They're the ones that been there, right?
Hang on.
Allegedly. I haven't
Okay.
been there.
Oh.
So will you go? Will
What's
you
moon
accept the
rock
core
made out of?
samples?
Is
Will you
moon
accept the core
does moon rock look
core
like
samples?
sand? Because I'm gonna say no, it's fucking rocks. Because what you're claiming here is we have this tiny particle, extremely dense layer of Earth or moon. And it's like, well, NASA's saying the opposite, but okay. But I'd say if you took that boat and you lowered it down, right? You lowered that boat down onto the sand, it's going to leave a much deeper imprint than a 300-pound foot would. I can't think of a single material that would give like a similar indentation.
How much do you think the boat would go into the sand?
Yes,
Yes.
that's your question. Like, what boat?
A 26-foot Boston whaler.
Okay, so I said it's pressure, right? Based on weight, and you're giving me a fucking length.
Right, but he's just giving. You just generally talk about a boat and their length, and you can guess
Yeah,
that
and he's like, I have
24
this
foot
very
Boston
long
whaler is going to
boat.
be like about a ton.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm trying to determine what determines like trying to like figure out what's going to dictate the depth of this footprint in this guy's like length.
Few things, right? A few things, right? Weight's going to be one of them. The substrate, or like how the bits of the matter hold together, where
Yeah,
sand, as I'm saying, holds together much better than mud. Where
yeah,
I
the
think
density, right?
lunar
Essentially.
regolith should hold very well together. Because what I consider holding well together is a function of the sharpness of the edges, right? Like it's really hard to get broken glass, to sort of move past itself because it kind of locks and catches and scratches. Whereas ball bearings, or particularly the smaller they get, are much easier to move past one another. So lunar regolith's going to have this habit of locking, because the other thing that's going to change whether it digs in is whether there's lateral movement, right? If you just push down, not much, but if you drag sideways, you're going to carve stuff up.
Oh, there's definitely going to be wiggling with the pad, right? As it's coming
Sure.
down, it's going to be shaking, vibrating, all that extra force. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to, I would imagine it would have to dig deeper than a footprint, substantially deeper, just because
What's
of the
deeper?
vibration
What would
alone.
be a good amount of sink that would make you go, this looks like a real way that foot should look?
More so than a footprint. For
It is digging in
starters.
more than a footprint, right? That footprint is
It's
way
pretty close,
way
dude.
less.
It's pretty close.
So how
I
deep
don't
would
know
have
the
you saying
exact
this is
size
legit?
of that pad, but it looks maybe
Sure.
a couple feet.
Sure. So how deep? How deep would you say is okay? You're saying this
Yeah.
number is not correct, and I'm saying, what are you comparing it to?
No, I'm saying it
Not
doesn't
dug
look
in
right.
It
It
Yeah,
doesn't look
what would
right.
look right is what I'm saying. You need to know what right would look like in order to say this ain't
Yeah,
real.
yeah, at least a quarter of the way of that pad, I would say.
Quarter of the way of that
Yeah,
pad.
because if you look at the sole of the boot, it's like, well, that was about a quarter of the sole, I'd imagine, if it took them indentations.
What do you mean a quarter of it? I don't get that, what that means.
Quarter of the I don't know, just judging by the pad and taking a guess at the weight of it, I'd say maybe I'd put it in the tonnage range. So it'd have to be over, I don't
And
know,
how
I'd
much should it
say,
dig in?
yeah,
That's
I
what
would
we're
expect
asking, right?
more. More than
More
just
by
the
what?
bottom surface.
6
Like
inches,
it looks
7
like
feet? Should it
I
have
don't know,
tunneled
guy.
through?
Give me the weight. Give me the density. You want me to do a math
Yeah,
formula without any of the
Eggshells.
information? I'm saying optically, just making the observation, this shit doesn't look like it's on the same type of surface.
Do we have
Either
like the
that or
data?
it's
Like, how,
light as fuck.
he brings up a good point. Like, how much does the ship weigh? How many like landing legs are there? What's the surface of area of each landing leg, so we can figure out the weight distribution? And then we can also like, I mean, because this is an internal critique, we use like the amount of gravity that the moon has to determine if it's, because I would probably guess it's less than a 300-pound foot on sand.
Well, keep in mind the LEM weighs about 6,000 pounds resting on the moon, right? Because it expended all its descent fuel. And then you've
Oh,
got the astronaut
6,000?
with all his gear, 6,000 pounds. The astronaut with all his gear on, I think he's like roughly 350 pounds.
All right,
Now
so
compare the surface
so
area
we'll
of a
go
human
4.
foot to the distributed weight across the pads on the LEM. What?
So we'll go 400 versus 6,000. And then we look
Yeah,
at the and then yeah,
but the human
now it
foot
just
surface
looks even
area
worse than
versus
what I
the
thought.
versus those round pads, right? There's 3 of them, and there's probably 5 or 6 times the area on each pad compared to a human foot.
Yeah, so let's just do like
Yeah,
pound per
sure.
square inch of pressure. Like,
Yeah, and
let's
I'm
just
going
actually
like
figure
off
this
first
out.
glance, as I look at that, it just it doesn't sit right with me. You guys can work the numbers out. That's fine. I'm just saying this doesn't look
I
right.
mean, isn't that the smartest way to figure this out?
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, feel free.
Is that what you want to do?
You think I care enough when I already think all this shit's fake? And I
Well,
have way
shit,
better
like,
reasons why I think it's fake?
I
The
mean,
green,
you've been
red, sparkly, purple fucking animations that look horrible, that look
you've
like
been
I've watched movies in the 80s with better fucking visual effects. And you're
you've
like,
seen
oh, I want you to research every fucking aspect of this landing pad depth ratio of the footprint so I can just reject your result and ad hoc it away anyways. No,
no.
thank you.
I feel like this is
You
like
do it.
maybe 5 minutes of calculations that we would have to do.
There you go. Have
Uh,
at it, boy. You got your next 5 minutes
I,
scheduled.
I I mean, you've been talking about it for the past half hour. I just don't see why like you're scared to do the 5 minutes of calculations.
I can't be bothered. I'm pointing out something I don't think looks right. You're saying it does look right. Okay, that's fine. Why do you think it looks right? You don't know why you think it looks right. You see how that goes? You're saying, yeah, this is real. I'm saying, well, it doesn't really look real to me. Something looks off. Not quite sure what it is, but it just doesn't look right. You're like, no, that looks right, but I don't know why it looks right.
Okay,
And
so
I'm
I
not
have
going to
it
do the
here. I
math
have it. I have
either.
it here.
I'm going to put the burden on you to do the math, even though I'm claiming this is real. You don't even know why you
That's
think it's real.
backwards.
It's not
Like the
backwards
claim is
because
that
I didn't
something's
It
say
is very
off.
this is
backwards.
That would be
definitely.
the thing
I did
to.
not
That would be
say
the
this
thing
is
to
definitely
demonstrate.
fake. No, I
I'm not
didn't say
saying
this is
definitely. You're
definitely
saying
fake.
something looks
I
off about
said, yeah, it looks off, and I'm not quite sure, but what I'm guessing is judging on the footprint, the depth, the depth to weight ratio doesn't seem right. And you guys are saying,
it.
no,
Why would
it
that be on
is
him
right.
to?
Because I said it doesn't seem right. I'm not saying it's
Right.
definitely not right. I'm saying it doesn't
Well, it
look right to
definitely
me. And then
doesn't
I got
matter.
somebody else coming in saying it is right. Okay, well, how do you know it's right?
By doing the calculations would probably be the best way to figure it out.
Yeah, I got it here. I'm doing it right
But
now.
you
So
haven't done them and you're claiming it.
average human footprint. Can
That's
I
my
just do it?
point.
Average human footprint is 17 square inches. Okay. If we look at the weighted weight of a Apollo astronaut with the suit on is about 350 pounds. So that's 20 pounds per
You're off
square
the mark,
inch.
Jake. Jake, you're off the mark.
What did he weigh with a suit on?
You have to go
Was
to
it
the
300
boot
pounds?
size. The boot
What's that?
size, not human footprint. You got to go for
You
the
also have
size of the boot
Okay, let's
footprint.
call it 20. Let's call it
you also have
how about we
you also have
double it?
1/6 the gravity. Well, you have
34
1/6 the
square.
gravity on the moon, so you
No,
have to
no, I
factor
know, but
that.
we're gonna use the weight on the Earth for both vehicles, okay? To get because the PSI is gonna scale exactly with the gravity regardless, right? Um, so even if we were to double the human foot, right, and say that which would be way off, right? Because the boot is not twice the size of a human foot. That'd be ridiculous.
No, you just get the dimensions, man. If you're trying to do
So
the math, I'd say
it
your
40.
best bet, if you're trying
Call
to
it
do the
10
math,
psi.
would get the actual dimensions of the size of the boots, right? This wouldn't be a hard thing to do. You could just even approximate it by looking at their feet when they're in the spacesuit, and then look at their feet when they're not in the spacesuit.
Okay.
And be
Okay.
like,
Well,
well, it's
here
relatively
we go.
about this much
Rigor.
bigger.
The vehicle weighed about 6,000 pounds on the moon once it had expended its landing fuel. 6,000
How
pounds.
big were the pads?
And there's a total of 4,300 square inches of foot area contacting the regolith, right? Which works out to
That's not how it
1.3,
works. That's
which
not
works
how
out to
it works.
1.38 psi on each landing foot for the lunar lem. Which, even if we were to double the size of a human foot, which is ridiculous, it would be 10 psi. So the human's foot would dig in way deeper than the landing leg on that lem.
You took total surface area and combined it. It's not how
What do you
you
mean?
work it out. Each
What do you
landing
mean?
pad would be independent in size.
Yeah, but it's supporting a third of the weight.
You don't think it's
you're
the
taking
weights
the total
evenly
surface
distributed?
area of landing pads and putting them together.
Why wouldn't you?
Didn't the landing pads have
Because
the
that's
humans?
not-
Didn't the argument you're making doesn't even make sense? Didn't the landing pads have the humans in it when they landed? So how could it be less than the human footprint if the whole humans, all the humans were in it? And wouldn't there be a giant hole underneath in the middle if that's stopping it from?
Dude, we're talking about 6,000. We're talking about 6,000 pounds. Okay, if you want to add the two humans in it and add 500 pounds of gear and human in it, it's 6,500 pounds. And that doesn't.
You said that should be
No, I'm
700
talking about
pounds
in the vehicle.
Yeah,
in
it'd
the
still be
vehicle.
700 pounds.
Okay, even at 6,700 pounds, you're off by almost an order of magnitude in the pounds per square inch because those landing pads have a shitload of area compared to a human foot.
Because you compressed all the landing area together. That's not how it works. Each landing pad would be independent.
How much do you think each landing pad is holding? Do you think each landing pad is holding the ship entirely?
This is just sea lining, bro.
Rigor. I think I actually agree. The distribution of each of those landing pads, right? Like, think about how wide it is compared to the foot. So, I mean, you have more, pressure underneath the bottom of a foot, when it has that much weight under it. I don't know. I don't see.
No,
I
I
don't
would
think
say
it's like a
there's no
good.
way. This is
like,
argument,
though.
take a 6,000 pound block, right? Or whatever. Say you have how many landing pads are there?
4, 3.
How many landing pads, Jake?
There's 3.
4. Oh, there's
3.
Okay,
so now
There's 3, and they're 36 inches.
Divide it by 3, right? Take a third of that and isolate it, right? Because that's essentially what you'd be doing, the math you'd be doing with the aircraft, right? Because each landing pad would be independent. It's not just increased surface area, right? Like each one would be independent. So if you go on mud, right, just think of this, right? You go on mud and you put a footprint
Yo, stop
on mud.
interrupting so you can explain it to me. Thank you. I want to hear
And
his
then
argument.
you take that 6,000 pounds. So it's no longer 6,000, it's only 2,000. And then you put something 2,000 pounds over your footprint, right? Do you think when you remove that 2,000 pounds, your footprint's still going to be there?
Okay.
Do you think your footprint went deeper? I would say no. But a lot of it, like, yeah, sure, it'd be the surface area of the landing pad, but I don't really know that. But just looking at it to scale in the photos, it doesn't look all that big to distribute fucking 6,000 pounds without like digging in. Plus, I already know
36 inches in diameter.
when that thing's coming down,
inches in
it's
diameter.
shaking, vibrating, so that's allowing it to dig even deeper. And the impact, because it's not like they came down and just lightly bounced. No, that's 6,000 pounds of fucking, well, almost, 7,000 pounds with the astronauts on board banging into the surface. It's not like they came down all smooth and just, smoothly step foot on it, like you casually walking.
How many
fluid
what was
motion.
the vertical rate
No,
of
this
what
came
was the
down and
vertical speed when
pounced on
it touched down? What was the vertical speed when it touched down?
As close to zero as you can get.
You can just keep throwing stuff out if you want, hoping one sticks. I mean, you don't know what the vertical speed was when it touched down. For all we know, it actually was lighter than a human step, right? The weight of it, if they kept the engine burning the whole time as it was already imprinting and just reducing power, that could have just been way lighter than a human step would be.
Dude,
So
the
there would have
ground would
been a.
have to be
So if that's the case,
perfectly level for that to happen, dude. For them to touch down that smoothly, the surface would have to be so fucking smooth for all pads to hit at the same time. Most likely what happened is one pad took the brunt of the impact, and then it went ding.
and you would
A
have
little
needed
bit, but the
tons of
bottom
pounds
line
of
is,
thrust underneath the middle of the where the rocket was to give them such a soft landing. There'd be a lot of pounds directly underneath it. No,
No.
no.
bottom line,
How
Why are
how
you
they touch
assuming you're
down so
looking at the
softly
one
if they're
pad
not?
that touched down first and not the one like if we want to use your argument against you, 2 out of 3 chances we're looking at the pad that landed down after the first pad, so it'd have less of an impact. We can use your
That would
argument against you.
that would be your best. That would be your best guess, yeah, right? That would probably be like, oh, that took
Yeah,
the least amount of force on impact.
they could.
How'd they
There's
touch
a
do you
lot of
down?
see
ways to
Rigor?
explain it
Put
away.
me in
I
line. Put
mean,
me in the line. Put me on the list.
I got an argument though after you, Jeremy.
Yeah, how'd they touch down so softly without putting some pound somewhere else, like from the rocket thruster underneath the lander?
I mean, if you want to get into the more complex calculations of impulse and like this, then we would need to like get the surface material. We would need to know all those things. Like, I mean, if you want to make it more complicated, why don't you just give us the most amount of pounds that, or the most amount of force that it was hit down with?
It's not making it
And
more complicated.
what you're
If
basing
there's
it
a,
on.
it's not making it more complicated. You got to have some kind of, in order to have it touch down as light as a human would, you're going to need to have some kind of thrust somewhere pressing against the ground, some kind of pounds of thrust.
I know. I'd like to know what the surface that material is made up out of.
So would you accept the core samples from from what was it, Apollo 17? I think you looked it up at.
Yeah, how deep they dig them down? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what is the layer? What are the layers on the surface of the Earth? Like digging down, what do the layers indicate? Do they indicate like 2 inches of extremely soft material, and then after that, it's like fucking granite level, or is it
Would you
extremely
would
hard
you
rock? Like,
would
what's
you
going on?
accept the information? Because like in order for you to accept the information, then you have to
Holy
accept the
fuck,
fact that
dude!
we went there.
If you know, just provide it.
I mean, I think it's very telling though that you're just biting us so hard on this idea of calculating the psi on the foot on a human foot compared to the foot on the lander. And when the math works out that lander foot would take about 1/10 of psi, even if you try to account for some vertical speed on descent and all that, you'd be quite a ways before you even match the psi of a human foot.
How big's the pad? Each pad,
36 inches in diameter,
36 inches in diameter. Oh, that's pretty big.
18-inch radius. That's a lot of square foot under each foot of the vehicle.
Okay, and unless it touched down as light as a human steps, you're going to need a crater underneath the middle of the lander from all the pounds of thrust that it was putting out when it landed, right? How many pounds was that putting down, Jake?
I mean, it'd have to support the weight of the vehicle, which would be 6,000 pounds, but that would be distributed over an even larger area than that of the foot, right? Because that plume that's coming out of it is covering a very wide area underneath the vehicle. It's like a cushion of air that it's landing on, right? A cushion of gas that it's landing on, that it's emitting. So
So how many
that would
pounds
be
of
an even
thrust?
bigger area.
Okay, how many pounds
Well,
of thrust? Cool.
if the vehicle is in a hover, it would be producing just as much thrust as the vehicle weighs, right? So, and on the surface of the moon, it weighs, whatever it is, 1/6 gravity, right? So if that thing is 6,000 pounds on the Earth, it'd be 1,000 pounds on the moon. So it'd have to be making 1,000 pounds of thrust to hover the vehicle, right? And it'd be 1,000 pounds over a pretty wide area, right? At least, you know, quite a bit wider than just the diameter of the bell.
So 1,000 pounds of thrust into the surface of the moon did not cause the surface of the moon to like spread out and like crater. Okay, well now we go back to like what is the moon made out of? Is it just a 2-inch dust layer on top and everything else is like extremely hard rock underneath? Because you need something like that to explain this. So what'd you guys get from material?
Yeah, I posted it for you. They took lots of samples, a lot more than I realized.
Yeah, I was actually going
Where'd you
to
post it?
argue against that because it's how the hell did they do 243 extra pounds of material back? Like, how they
Let's
bring
see.
that back with them off the moon? That doesn't even make sense.
They
Do you think?
loaded it into a
Wait, do you
in a
think it
storage
was just
area.
one mission? Do you think it was one mission that
I'm
did it
talking
all?
about one specific mission, Apollo 17, 243 pounds.
And why is that impossible?
I didn't say impossible. I said, how does that work?
You just pick it up and put it and load it into the trunk of the vehicle that was designed to carry the lunar rocks. I mean, dude, I could load.
No,
You
but
know, that's like
what fuel did they use? Like, what was the other? How did they launch off of the moon with an extra two? Like, where's the logistics for that?
And again,
they
if
already
there's
had planned. They had
hang on,
planned a certain amount of weight.
wait. If they're saying they brought back 243 pounds, I'm assuming that means like on Earth.
Okay. So
They
divide that by 6.
They calculated it into their fuel budget. They knew what they wanted. They had an area to store the rock. They had equipment to store the rocks. They calculated how much rocks they could carry back with them. They obviously optimized for that. It's not like they were like in the middle of the mission and said, "Hey, maybe we should take some of these rocks back." And they go, "I think we got enough gas." That's not how they did it, right? They calculated it all in. Is part of the mission, right? Every minute of that mission was planned.
Yeah,
Okay,
where
where's
are
this
you getting
post?
these logistics? That's what I'm trying to like. I'm on
What do you mean?
NASA's website.
What do you mean? But what do you mean by where are these logistics? When they calculated the fuel budget for the ascent stage, they would have calculated in how much lunar rock they'd be able to take with them, and they loaded up only the amount that they were able to take with them.
Okay, what you just said? Where are those numbers?
I mean, I'm sure they're in all the NASA mission docs. I mean, I'm sure you
You're
can
just
find them.
sure.
And if I go digging, well, we can put money on it. If I can find a NASA doc that states that there was a fuel budget for the rocks, would you accept that? And we could put a bet on it if you'd like.
I mean, I don't understand this. Like, you asked for the core samples, we provide them, and I asked before I provided them, like, will you accept information? And I was just told, well, just provide them. And now, again, I provided them. Why don't now
Yeah.
you're just shifting the goalpost
Well,
even more?
I'm not the one that asked for those, by the way. That
I'm
was
trying to
clear.
look at I'm trying to find the layer, right? That's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to find what is the layer composition of the moon, right? Because I already know it's got to be way less dense than Earth, right? That's a guaranteed. It's like 10 times less dense, like for size, right? So it's like, all right, where is this dense? How is this dense substance, whatever material, close to the surface? So I'm trying to look at like the layers, and you're like, here's some core samples. It's like, well, that's not really giving me what I want. So I'm gonna try it right now. I'm trying to look for it on my own.
What missions are y'all talking about that were so specially planned, like down to the rock?
Apollo 17, apparently.
Holy shit! It don't seem like they
still
planned
looking for
very
weight at
well
all?
at all. They almost ran out of fuel landing. They never tested the the orbiter, like on Earth, they couldn't land it. They were hoping that it would, I guess, do well in 1/6 gravity. I'm not sure how they tested that. I guess they would have had to have done it in a vacuum chamber, but I've never seen that.
We're gonna
They
need
just
some rovers on the moon. We're gonna need to get
like
some rovers there.
Hey, dude, check this out. You asked if you can find the numbers. I'm literally on this document from NASA called Apollo by the Numbers. Okay. Literally right here, LM lunar liftoff ignition, and they have no numbers.
It's some kind of a
Literally
summary
fake.
doc. So if you do you want to put a bet that those numbers exist in a NASA document? Do you want to put a bet on it right now?
Hold on a second. They have numbers for every other aspect of the event, quote unquote, and different stages, but they don't have it for the one thing that I'm asking about that I was curious. I'm
Okay,
like,
on that
huh,
document they
I
may not
wonder
have
how.
it.
Hey,
Do you
dude,
mean that
relax.
doesn't
Hey,
exist?
hey, relax, bro. Look, there's no numbers here. I don't care what you say. There's
That
no numbers
particular
here.
document, sure.
Yo,
So
Beast, he's
by
not,
saying that,
hang on, Jake. He's not actually answering it. The reason it doesn't have numbers there, read what the table says. So the table says at the top, right?
Hmm.
The space fixed velocity. This is the ignition. So I'm guessing this is when they actually started the craft. So of course it doesn't have a velocity and altitude, event duration, velocity change, geodetic latitude, longitude. I'm guessing that would be the same as the next part, like the longitude and latitude, but it's not going to have those velocities or anything. That's probably when they started the craft. That's the actual answer they should be giving, but I don't know why Jake is like defending not that. Right, that's the ignition, right, when they start the craft. Why would it have velocity right when they start the craft?
Right. So, do you see the event though, where it says, was that minutes? So 7 minutes, right, of ignition.
Right?
Is that what that says? Yeah. So in 7 minutes, they ascended an altitude of 9.9 nautical miles, had a fixed velocity of, what is that, 5,523 feet per second. And then it says the event duration was 427 seconds. Velocity change in feet per second, 6,054.
Yeah, I'm guessing they don't read it while they're doing the ignition, because if you go to before that, the CSM plane cutoff, it says that the velocity change is 124. So it seems like it's right, it's stopping and then starting. And the same thing for the terminal phase, finalize. So I'm guessing when they, whatever that means, LM lunar liftoff ignition. Yeah, there's no velocity there. Is that the numbers you were looking for? Like when they were lifting off?
I wanted to see the fuel. Like, basically, what Jake was claiming. Like, I'm sure they calculated all of this before time and have the numbers and it's all correct. That's what Jake was saying. I'm literally I'm doing my best to try and find these numbers because this is the claim right here.
Oh yeah, I didn't see
did
fuel
you
on the table at all. There's no fuel on the table.
did you
Yeah.
Well, let me
no,
ask you
here's
something,
the thing.
Beasticles. When you take a core sample, what do you think you keep it in?
It's completely non sequitur.
No, it's not a non sequitur. I guarantee you, it's directly like related.
Cylinder. I would put it in a
Yeah,
cylinder
it's a
because I would
vacuum
dig it
sealed
with a
cylinder.
cylinder.
Right. So, do you think that they pack these vacuum sealed cylinders before they decide to take these core samples?
I mean, your question's irrelevant.
Not really.
Yeah, it is. I'm
No,
talking about
because if
weight here.
because if they planned on taking these core samples, obviously they planned on like having a certain amount of weight bringing back with them, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it seems like they probably planned. Like maybe they didn't know exactly how much weight like each of these core samples would be, but I would imagine that they probably planned for a certain amount of weight, right?
Okay, so yeah, they plan to take core samples. That means they brought the right equipment for core samples. That means they probably planned for fuel. That means they probably brought the right amount of fuel. Okay, so how do we know that they brought the right amount of fuel?
I would imagine that if the core samples they took,
Imagine.
yes, like imagine, like I mean, it's so far fetched to believe that they probably planned on saying like, hey, we can probably bring like a max of this much weight. So if you start taking these core samples and they weigh more
You're just
than
making
this,
shit up.
I'm
Right,
just
you're
saying
just
like it
begging the question, right?
seems pretty much like a common sense thing that like we should all be able to agree upon. That this is like if they had these
I'm not gonna
core,
agree upon your hypothetical like
what
logistics.
what don't you agree upon?
I want to know what the actual numbers are and see if they match up.
What don't you
Yeah, so
agree
I'll
upon about
help.
my
I'll help real quick to
hypothetical
make it
about them
simpler.
having a pre-planned amount of weight that they said they could bring back? What don't you agree about my hypothetical?
Yeah, B. So assume they went to the moon, which means they planned for everything and had everything they needed, which means they don't need to publish anything because we assume that they did it, and because they did it, they must have, done the right calculations to do it. So therefore, they had the right amount of fuel and weight.
Yeah, and
Just
there's
begging
specific
the
documents
question
that
is useless.
there's documents that exist that go through all that in
Show me.
nitty gritty detail. First, let's bet
Okay,
on it. You want to
looking
bet on
for
it?
it.
You want to bet that it exists or not?
I'm
Oh,
Why don't you
literally
just
in
guys
the
have
just
the
be
Apollo.
fucking
good faith?
conversation, bro.
I'm
I
not gonna
just
be
don't
good faith.
understand like what part of my hypothetical do you disagree with? That they planned on bringing back samples and they probably planned on having like limiting the amount of weight that they could bring back. What part of that do you
Do you
disagree with?
do you understand if I was talking to any other normal person in real life and I asked this question, they would say, "Huh, I don't know. Let's see if we can find out."
I'm looking at
And
a
then they
whole
would
list of
actually help
documents.
me. They would actually
I'm
help me doing the research instead of just saying they probably did. So what's your point?
I'm not
Did any
disagreeing.
of you guys, hold on a second, since you guys are truth seekers, did any of you guys even bother to go into any AI engine and say, does NASA have any documents that detail the fuel budget
All right,
calculations
how
of
many
the
times do I
ascent
have to
and
repeat
descent of the
myself?
Apollo? Did any of you
How
guys
many
even bother to do that?
how many
Dude,
times do
you've
I have to
Raise
used
your
repeat
hand. Want to
AI
know
myself?
in the
this
past and it gave
incredulity
you
thing? Did you
incorrect
guys even do?
information.
Okay, I'm talking. Please don't interrupt me. Did
Jake,
any of you guys
what did I
even
Dude, you
Are you
say?
bother
asked
still
your
talking?
question and then
You asked the
paused.
question. We
So
tried
I'm
to
going to
answer.
finish what
Now
I'm
you're still
saying.
talking.
Bro,
Yeah,
you
you're
asked
still
if
talking
anyone
Finish
used
what I'm
after his
saying.
question.
AI. Okay.
He's
I'm going to finish what I'm saying, but
looking
I'm
at the
literally
material.
in the Apollo by the numbers document, which I stated 3 times already, Jake.
do you think that that's
Yeah,
the only
as you speak,
document that has ever been listed by NASA that details that aspect of the mission
Oh
you
my
profile?
didn't say that,
god.
you moron. Jesus, bro. He's looking up documents right now as we speak.
I want the
And
real
What's
Jake,
your
you've
numbers,
you've
not the
problem?
gone through
hypothetical.
AI before and you've gotten faulty information
Okay,
and
so
wasted an hour of our time because we tried to find the documents that you said you have.
I posted one of them there. Does that document have what you're looking for? Basically, I just posted it. That's just one of many.
All right, let
These
me
are
look
not
at
the
it.
droids you're looking for.
It's just crazy because he's asking questions, and you have one person who's begging the question where it's like, oh, they calculated what they need for this. That means they must have calculated what they need for everything. And the other person's like, oh, bet me money, and then I'll show the document. I mean, what are you guys doing? Are you seeking truth? What's your intentions?
And we all have the same search tools. If you want to be like incredibly incredulous, you would think that you would at least type in a search somewhere, right? And not just say, well, I have one document here. It says NASA by the numbers. If it's not in here, then they never did anything.
Dude,
Dude,
what
there
is
was
it?
a day where
That's
your
not what
search
they
tool, there was a day
know.
where your search tool was ChatGPT, and you had 4 people trying to find the quote that you insisted was in a paper, and nobody could find it. The whole time they're all asking you, dude, did you get this from ChatGPT? We're looking in the document. We downloaded it. We downloaded the book that you're quoting. We can't find the quote. And you're like, oh, it's in there. It's on page 45. It says, I'm looking at the book right now. And we said, dude, is this from ChatGPT? You wouldn't admit it. We finally posted the book in the server, and then you go, yeah, I use ChatGPT. And ChatGPT didn't, the quote wasn't in the book. So we're not just going to take your word for it, which is taking ChatGPT's word for it, because it's shown in the past that you failed at that. You didn't vet what the AI says.
It has nothing to do with what I asked Beasticles, which is did he even bother to do a search to see if there is any NASA document that details the flight
It's so
the flight
ironic. Like,
dynamics?
I don't know how many times I've said it. And if you were to look
How
into
do you
my
think he
stream,
found the document he's in right now? He did a search, right?
I have like
I
15
mean, come
tabs
on,
open,
bro.
you
You
dumb
just
dumb. Thank you, Rakia. I'm literally trying to figure out what the truth is about the logistics of the mission. You guys are like, they probably calculated it for it. Yeah, yeah. So what's your
So can
point?
we bring this back like on target to like this imprint that this lunar lander would have to make?
Yeah, I'm looking at a PDF right now, dude. I'm trying to figure out like the touchdown speed, the touchdown trajectory, because none of you guys fucking know this, but all you guys know this makes sense. You're claiming, oh no, everything in that footage, in that picture makes perfect sense, and then we
So
ask you why you believe it, you have no fucking clue. So
all
it's like
right,
we
sure,
don't want
since
to
you're
do
doing
that,
that,
and you guys
I
are
was like,
getting emotional because we don't want to do what you do.
I also
Like, get
posted
over it.
like a core sample that was done near the lunar module. So
Yeah.
like when you're done doing
And that
that, like
goes completely against
calculate to
your
figure out the
implication.
impulse and the amount of force that those individual like materials can support. Because I know you want to do like a thorough, detailed
Did you say a
analysis.
Okay,
core?
you're
Did you
still
say a
waffling.
core sample?
Yes.
Yeah,
They took a
it's
sample of the core of the moon.
Do you know core samples don't mean like the core of the moon? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Typically on Earth, when we say we take a core sample, is that what you're saying we're doing on the moon?
do you think we've taken core samples of the center of the Earth?
Dude, why do
No.
you have to force everything
Okay.
into
Do you
ridiculous
think
weeds?
because no, he
because
is.
he's
He's
looking for
saying
a
that
gotcha.
he's
That's literally
arguing
all he
about core
fucking does.
samples. He's arguing about what a core sample is,
No,
saying that
I'm
like,
not.
oh,
I'm
we
not
took it
arguing
from the
what a
center of
core
the
He
moon.
sample
was
is,
just
And I'm
Hunter.
saying
asking you a
no, that's not
question,
what a core
man.
sample is. So he's playing the fucking game here.
Okay, so
No,
then
you're
what
just
did you
trying to
take a
force
sample of?
everything into the weeds and make it as tedious and annoying as possible.
I
That's
was
what
the
a
Asking
one
what you
that was
Fed
took a
would
asked for
sample
do.
of,
I
bro.
was the one that was
Jeez.
asked for the composition of the ground that would be able to support the lunar landing. So
Yeah. So I looked it up and I like came to the conclusion, right? NASA's saying it's soft material. The surface is soft. That's all I was looking for when I was trying to get the layers. They're saying, yeah,
it
up
doesn't
to like
say that.
feet. Yeah,
It's like a
the first
No, it
Tempur-Pedic.
doesn't say
feet.
that. It
It's
doesn't
like
say
It
that.
does say that.
It doesn't
It
say that.
actually does. No,
No,
no.
it actually
Whatever
doesn't say
you're
that.
looking at might not say it, but this is what
it
NASA
does
says.
Yes,
say
but
that.
yes,
That's
I'm looking at the
NASA
core
says the
sample
surface
taken
of the
near the
moon
lunar
is
landing,
soft, up
and
to
you're
feet.
looking at what?
where do you think they got the idea for Tempur-Pedic mattresses? They were trying to
Yeah, fucking
imitate the
PDF.
surface of the moon, dude.
You like moonery foam?
So,
Yo, Tora, I'm using that wallet to prop up my phone. It's so good.
Nice.
depth from
Awesome.
0 to 10 centimeters, massive interval with scattered large rock fragments. This unit may be distorted by footprints and exhaust gases, but evidence for such disturbance is not visible in the X radiograph.
Oh, they brought those back. They brought that back and then they gave it to someone and they found out it was just petrified wood.
God.
Tora, have you been propping it up?
Yeah, I like to prop it up.
Yeah, because some what was it? An ambassador or some shit for Netherlands gave someone a fake gift that even NASA was like, that's not actually something that we gave to them. I don't know where they're coming with this claim from.
I mean, that's why he's got to pivot away from like the actual
Dude, do
data.
you guys know where
He's got to
70%
pivot
of
so
all
hard from
moon
the
rocks
actual
are
data.
found? Do you
He's
know
got to
where
pivot.
70% of all moon rocks are found?
Antarctica.
On Earth.
No, for real. Werner von Braun was taking all these trips to Antarctica, before the moon landing. That is one theory that is actually where they got them.
Yeah,
Wow.
except that those are weathered. They're going to be weathered from being on the surface of the Earth for thousands of years, as opposed to the ones that came off the surface of the moon, right? Which are going to be, vastly different than a rock that's been weathered over the centuries.
Dude, know what I just saw in this PDF? The nozzle exit for like where the thrust comes out, the bottom, was only 12 to 15 inches from the surface of the moon. So it could not have been coming down extremely low or slow because there's no blowout of the surface. Like Jeremy was talking about. There's no crater that the thruster blew a little, dispersed all the material underneath it. It didn't happen. You can see it in the footage. I can give you a picture if you're interested.
Hold on,
Wouldn't there
I
be
gotta
more
challenge
blowout
Jake
if
on
it
this
was
one.
coming down faster? There would be more blowout if it was coming
Hold on.
down faster.
Hold on, Flat
No,
Earthers, real
slower.
quick.
Slower, dumber.
The
Oh.
PDF that Jake provided, Mr. Jake, who said he did not use ChatGPT, tried to make a bet on it beforehand, gave me a PDF about a different Apollo mission. It
He
says
said he
Apollo
did
12.
he said he did use ChatGPT. He said, did you guys even do any like searches by asking AI for this information? So he did use it. That was the issue I brought up.
Oh yeah, and the issue is, Jake, it gave you the wrong fucking mission that I'm asking for, dog. I'm asking for Apollo
I mean, why are we?
17 ascent.
We never said any specific Apollo. They brought back moon rocks
I
on every
said
Apollo
Apollo
mission.
17 specifically.
Ho-
Flat Earthers are
Hold on
funny.
a
Be
second.
honest, right?
Hold
Didn't
on
I
a
say
second.
Apollo 17 because of the rocks, the 242 pounds on that specific mission? Be honest
That's
right
the
now.
one that's the one I referenced, but they did it on
Right.
other missions as well. So do
I
you,
know
That's
they
the
which,
one
did.
we were talking
which
about.
Apollo mission do you want me to go to?
That's the one we were talking about. Now you guys are acting like that's not what we were talking about the whole time.
You
Which
guys are
Apollo
fucking
mission do you want me to go to?
ridiculous.
See, no answer. No answer from either of them.
Yeah, bad
Apollo
It's
faith
a
All right,
12,
so
massive
so
Apollo
blunder. It's
11,
a massive
Apollo
blunder, and you
14,
guys just want to
Apollo
sweep it under
15,
the rug.
Apollo 16. Which one do you want me to go to?
The
can I
one that
get
we're
in real quick?
talking about, man. The one that we're talking about.
All right,
The
can I
one
get
that
in
I'm
real quick?
trying to
This
figure out.
the
Sorry,
sink
go ahead.
speed of the shuttle. The sink speed was 1.8 feet per second. All right, and the planar velocity was 2.2 feet per second. So there would be an angular impact when it touched down, right? At 1.8 feet per second downward, right? And then the horizontal movement or planar would be 2.2 feet per second.
Yeah,
That was their speed according to NASA.
that's less than 1 G of impact.
Yeah, it just adds more pressure, right? You would agree that
Yeah, less than
your
1 G.
simple
What
just
less than
your
1 G
simple
worth?
soft touchdown on the scale,
Wait,
like the PSI argument you were making earlier, just gets thrown in the trash.
Yeah,
what
less
is
than
it?
Easy
one
into
G.
that.
Less than 1 G of impact. Less than 1 G of
What
impact to be clear.
what do
Okay,
we
but
say it is on Earth?
now
9.8
it's
feet
just
per
factors
second?
you forgot to put on
9.8
the
feet per
equation, right?
second?
You
9.8
concede
feet per
to that?
second?
Dude,
No,
I'm
it's
trying to
On,
not
talk to
on,
feet,
Jake. I don't
bro.
know why you're
Shut up,
interrupting.
flat earthers are silly. It's not 9.8 feet, so you got it
Yeah,
wrong.
let Pure Rigor finish his point.
Yeah, I just want to point out, like, now we know that the PSI argument, we have numbers, right? Proper numbers to put into the equation. If you would like to work it out and get an actual accurate, right, depiction of how deep it should have gone, right, I think that would
Let's
be,
do it. You
more
should try that,
honest.
Pure Rigor. I'm trying to get the numbers for this Apollo 17 mission liftoff because they added 242 pounds of extra weight. And I'm just curious to see if there's anything that actually shows that they accounted for that extra weight taken back with them, going back to Earth. And I don't see anything in this document. The PDF that you provided, Jake, was the wrong mission, number one.
Didn't they leave the what do they call them, the quads or whatever? Didn't they leave them up there? They say
I don't know. Did they? Let me see.
the moon buggies.
The lunar
Yep,
lander.
they left
17?
them all there. Yep, they're all there just collecting moon dust, allegedly. They left them all there, yep.
Dang, that's what they
Millions
did
and
with
billions of dollars. They drove them around for a few hours and just left them there and just gave up on the whole mission of driving cars on another planetary body. They just gave up on it entirely and just left them there and wasted millions of the taxpayers' money.
Weren't those like millions of dollars and they had like a beach chair and oh man, let's pull up the rovers. I guarantee we got some meth head rovers here.
Dude, the rovers were
Made by meth heads.
non-rechargeable. They had a fixed life on the moon that they were going to use them for the mission, and to try to bring them back, the cost to bring them back would have far exceeded the cost of building another rover.
I agree with you,
Most
man.
of the
You're the
cost,
one that I agreed
most of the
with
cost,
remember with Everest where I said like, dude, it's way easier to get someone stranded on the moon than to, land a plane or a helicopter on Everest and get those bodies out. You and I agree. I don't want to go too far into the rovers because this is like Apollo 15, but man, look at that meth head beauty. They got a little antenna on it. They have lawn chairs, little bits of tape. I mean, someone really made this in their garage, strung up on meth in Wisconsin, allegedly.
So it goes more in depth about the landing too. It says the engine thrust terminator was initiated at about 1.3 seconds prior to the first foot pad contact. Right? Well, that gives us a distance relationship, right? And then it says the first foot pad contact was 3.3 feet per second. The sink speed with a horizontal velocity of 0.4 feet per second. In the y direction and 1.7 feet per second in the z direction. So that's that's what I'd expect for depth. Like all those factors to be taken in because it's like, moving not in perfect lockstep with the moon, but as close as they could get, and then poof, cut the engines, fall. So that's 6,000 pounds or close to 7,000 just plopping down. And they cut the engines 1.3 seconds prior. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, the majority of the weight would be imprinted on one leg or one pad, and then it would be like dink, dink, dink. And that's exactly what happened according to NASA.
and even taking all that into account, it would still be less pounds per square inch than a human foot.
Okay, do the math.
I
Dude,
did.
you're,
True.
hold on. You're saying
Son,
there's cars on the moon right now? There's cars on the moon.
I mean, it'd be more like an electric
Yep.
go-kart, the remainder of an electric go-kart. I don't know if you'd want to call it a car.
There is
It's a
so
Jeep frame. The Jeep frame.
yeah,
Well, if
I
there
want to
was
tell Jake.
cars on the moon, I'd go for an excursion. I'd probably go for seconds.
I
You're
want to call
saying it's
Jake out on his
electric?
bullshit too, because NASA says 3 to 4 inches the pad sunk, versus half an inch to 1 inch the footprint sunk. So you're just wrong about that too.
There's 3 of them there. There's 3 lunar roving vehicles just sitting on the moon right now. Humanity
Like,
just gave up. 50 years later, they're just collecting dust. We just gave up on all of it. Can't
all
even
we
get back there. Can't even land on the moon. Can't even land again.
all we need is just like to bring some batteries with us, and the cars are already there. Are you kidding me?
You know what's crazy? Next to the cars, behind the tires, there's boot prints, but there's no like tire markings. You can see the boot prints, but behind the wheels, there's no marking that the tire moved at all. So I guess men weigh more than the rover. Maybe the rover's like super light.
That is strange. I mean, did they back it up? Like, are there prints to the left of the wheel on that one?
Nope, not that I see, but there's a shadow in the way for like a part of it. I'll post that too.
Or did they just drop them down with a crane on a set?
You just gently
That's
place it
right.
down and make sure, and then make sure you put a boot print in it. You know.
Flat Earth and
Yeah,
Coffee did a whole thing on that, and they showed how they rode like in a set, and then they made them look like they were bouncing all over the place. It was crazy.
so there's a footprint. I posted a picture in chat of a footprint to the landing pad. It gives you a scale of how big the footprint is, how deep it is down in the soil versus the landing pad.
Oh, that's another thing. So I guess the humans that were in the spacecraft weigh more than the spacecraft, even though the humans were in the spacecraft, weighing it down with human weight. Because the spacecraft isn't pushing in that much.
Come on, boys. You all know this is called real good engineering. You know that, right?
Real good engineering, yeah.
I got another picture which I find odd, right? So I just post this real quick.
Is
Alright,
that
that material.
RTDL?
Look at the foot, right? The foot of that
Clean.
lunar pad. Right? Clean as fuck, but look at all that debris that got moved. Did they dig out around the pad, or did that pad create all that debris to move?
Oh, of course, Pure Rigor, they packed a lunar feather duster to make sure the pads don't get dusty. And they feather dusted off. Because, of course, they planned for the dust. So they brought the lunar feather duster and the lunar maid. And she came out and she dusted that pad clean. Of course. Don't you think they would have planned for that?
But even the material itself would have got torn to shreds. Like what they have that little landing pad coated in. Why is that not torn to shreds while dragging across rock and moving all that material? Nothing leaked onto the inside. Like Gally's saying, nothing is on the inside of the pad, even though it's a bowl. But yet all that material was pushed away from the pad by the pad. Okay. If you guys think that makes sense, that's fine. You can believe
All
that.
of these things can be explained via them leaving Tyrone's shoelaces there, and they made him do the dirty work, like cleaning off the lunar dust on the pads. They left poor Tyrone there to die in space. He's also the man who panned the camera up. He's been there the whole time.
I posted a video of
retarded.
the kind of math you would need. It's something totally different, but that's the kind of math you would need to figure out the force in the landing. If anyone wants to go through the trouble to do that, replace the values and such.
I don't know, man. I'm on like my 7th PDF about the Apollo 17 mission. Still no
Which
concrete
one you got?
numbers. What?
Do you have which document you have? I got SP 2013-605.
I might have that open in a different. Oh no, I already had that one open. Yeah. Where is it? SP. What is it called?
SP 2013-605. That's the one that's giving me like the speeds and everything.
I'm gonna keep that one open.
Why
Weird.
why are we the ones that are like not defending it, going through the PDFs to figure out what's going on with this versus the ones that are just accepting it and don't know
All right,
anything
good. There's
about it?
another one I
I'm
don't
too
have.
lazy.
Because
You
Look,
guys have doubts.
for them, it's easier to just say, don't you think they would have accounted for it, the smart science guys?
yeah. I'm so glad
Wait,
I relied on ChatGPT instead of my own fucking research. Yeah, crazy, dude.
wait,
If I would
you
have
guys
just
just
took the answer that it gave me, then I'd be not only wrong but look retarded afterwards, like Jake does. Right?
Yeah,
Look, he looks
NASA
retarded
should
right now.
absolutely rely on Biasticles' research.
you guys are expecting scammers to do real work? Come on, guys.
Manufacturer, I think you're egregiously missing the point. Did you just join?
Manufactotum.
Oh yeah, these photos of the landing pad are very much inconsistent, I would say. And then you look at the angle that the aircraft is like oriented in. It's like, dude, it's on a fucking slope. It's like you'd have no choice but to dig in and pull the material away from it.
Oh,
It's literally on a hill. Like I got another picture. It's on a hill, and these guys are like, no, the impact would be all nice and smooth.
oh, that's fucking convenient. Wow. Dude, that's hilarious. Okay. I think I found my numbers.
Dude, if that thing wants to land, bro, it's got to be going at some speed down. And the thrusters underneath the thing have to be. Are you guys still on this lunar lander thing?
Dude,
Yeah.
Jeremy, check this shit out. The consumable summary table I found. I finally got it, dude. It says launch load 233 pounds, flight planned remaining 178 pounds, actual remaining no data. Literally says no data for actual remaining. So the question that I had, I can't get an answer. Literally. So you guys saying, "Oh, I'm sure they calculated, I'm sure they did it," are full of shit. I literally can't get the answer. It says no data.
Actually, shit, you can find it in the physical and natural world. For nonsense fantasy, you cannot. So shit supersedes this scam fantasy. Shit is superior to this nonsense.
It's actually real.
Yeah, shit's actually real, exactly. This shit.
Shit also actually has a purpose. Not like this shit. Not like this nonsense.
So it would be about 30 inches of drop, 30 inches per mile squared on the surface of the moon. Curvature rate. Do you have any like black swans for the moon? We see too
I mean,
far.
that lunar
Moon
lander had to
refraction.
be coming down with some kind of speed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I
And
covered it.
what's up?
I covered that. When they cut the engines, they were coming down at I think it was 1.3 feet per second or something like that. And the thrusters the thruster itself, the little exit fucking thing, was about 12 to 15 inches from the surface of the moon. So yeah,
Do you
all
think
that debris.
1.3 feet per second is fast? It's a speed, isn't it?
Fast is kind of relative. Like that'd be fast for maybe a snail.
We're
Probably
talking
not fast
about
for a cheetah.
Yeah, but we're talking about if that's the speed they're going at, right? 1.3 feet per second. It's not about oh, is it fast relative? No. We're talking about how close was it when the thrusters were on? How close was the thruster exit from the surface? Because that's what's going to dictate how much material is moved.
So you got a 12 to 15 inch. You said it was 15 inches from the surface.
Yeah, they said
And it
on a perfect plane, it'd be 18 inches. This is like off memory, right? I'm not reading it right now. It's about 18 inches on a perfect plane, but due to the pictures they took, they said it's about 12 to 15 inches, the exit nozzle for the thruster in relationship to the moon surface.
Okay, so we got 6,000 pounds of thrust coming out 18 inches from the surface. How wide was the thrust How wide was how big is the thing that the thrust comes out of?
Well, they would have cut it sooner because they came down at 1.3. So you'd have to work that math out. When did they cut it to allow them to come down at that speed? You know what I mean?
I thought you said they cut it when they were 15, 18 inches or something.
No. On a perfect plane, the exit nozzle would sit about from the ground. You know, it's basically the bottom of the landing pad to the bottom of the exit nozzle is about 18 inches, right? That relationship, if it's sitting perfectly flat, it's only 18 inches from the surface of whatever surface it's resting on. In the photo, though, it was 12 to 15. So that means it was on a mound, right? A mound, you know, like the legs, like the peak of a mound or a high point. So that material that should be gone is not only not gone, but there's more material there than at the legs.
But why didn't you just land back on the Earth like you landed on the moon?
Well, I guess they need to launch you out of an airplane, launch them out of an airplane in a capsule with parachutes for the trick to play out.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You make a good point. Yeah, why wouldn't they just go there, land, come back here, and land? They're both spherical planets or whatever, or balls, spheres in their model.
Exactly.
I guess what they would say the gravity is different, so they have to do the parachute shoot thing rather than the 1/6 gravity on the moon.
I mean, when you guys were doing the math earlier, you were saying that it was just the amount for the pads and how much the thing weighs. That was just for setting on it. That wasn't accounting for it going a foot a second, right?
Yeah, that's just resting on a scale.
Yeah. So if you obviously if you something's moving and it goes into something, it's going to leave a deeper impression. Like you can have a little, you can drop a marble. You could place a marble on sand, right, and it'd barely leave an impact. But then if you
Yeah,
drop it, it's going to leave a bigger impact. And then if you throw it at a greater speed, it's going to leave an even bigger impact.
I'm just baiting them at this point. I'm waiting for one of them to be like, no, there's no way all this math adds up. And now I'm going to show them a picture that completely contradicts what they're saying.